Okay, we're trying one more time.
We're back.
Where does Ian live? Can he drive over? Yeah.
If only.
All right. So try. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna download it on this machine as well and see if we can do it that way.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, that could actually work. Are we gonna try Infinity again, or are we just going Marathon 1?
Oh no, just Marathon 1.
Yeah.
Infinity clearly is a problem.
Yeah. All right. So let me just launch into a campaign game, and we can't actually do the multiplayer on Marathon 1, unfortunately, because
It
Hello?
looks terrible.
Okay, those levels look okay.
yeah.
Great. All right, so talk
Back
about
in?
the single player then.
Okay. So, well, I mean, we'll talk about Marathon in general. So, Pathways into Darkness was this game that was a sort of an adventure game, but it came around the same time as Wolfenstein 3D from id, which was sort of the predecessor to Doom. And so you'll note that this game shares a lot of similarities to Doom, and it was often credited as sort of like the Mac version of Doom.
I'm gonna drag that window over to the left a little bit.
Yeah. But Ian, there were some things that separated Marathon from Doom.
Well, the biggest thing you'll probably notice it is that ability to look up and down, that whole free look aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Doom and Wolf 3D, which were the salivating points for Mac users at the time,
Yeah.
were they were kind of 2D games, and Doom had that 2.5D. This is still a 2.5D game, but you can look up and down, and then 3 dimensions do actually matter in this game.
Yeah. So they managed to do that. Mouse look did not actually sort of exist yet at this time. Like for those of us who played Marathon back in the day, and some of you were pointing out in the chat that this looks way better than when you remember playing Marathon. This is true. This is mostly because we are using a high resolution texture pack. When Marathon or when Bungie was bought by Microsoft in 2000, as they were building Halo, which was supposed to be on the Mac, they released Marathon as open source, so that basically anyone could go in and mod it and play with it and do wonderful things to it. And it's because of that we have Marathon now running on systems of all kinds in wonderful high definition. Like this can run in like full 1080p, which makes me very happy.
But this one came out in this was a floppy disk game back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Ian, what was your like first exposure to Marathon?
Marathon actually came into my life when I was first started going to what you'd now call LAN parties.
Mm-hmm.
And this was I started doing these back before the word LAN party actually really was a thing. We were a bunch of Mac users that got together in this guy's basement, and we used the Apple Talk connections, those old little adapters you had at the back of your computers that used a phone line to connect to each other in a big chain. And we were playing games like Bolo and the NetHack clone.
Mm-hmm.
And some guy one day showed up with this new game called Marathon. I'm like, Marathon? What, we're gonna go run around what? And no, turned out to be this amazing first-person shooter. We actually managed to get our hands on the beta of it, which was just multiplayer at the time, and it was spectacular. We played nothing else for the next 16 hours.
So yeah, like the beta of Marathon was fairly widely circulated, as I recall. And
Well, as wide as it can be when you're dealing with 24/4 modems and floppy disks.
yeah, but what like many games sort of the time, what happened was it ended up installed on computers on mainframes in colleges and circulated around computer labs. And so you got a lot of people sort of being exposed to games like this for the first time in those sort of contexts where they were by necessity social, and where they could play some wicked first-person shooter multiplayer. You pointed out that this is like one of the first games that had sort of the ability to look up and down, which is true. The Marathon levels were actually done. They were 3D, but I believe it's faked. In that the levels actually if we hit the map here, you can see sort of the layout of the levels, and in this case it all more or less makes sense. I believe that the Marathon maps are actually like they run over themselves and whatnot in a way that does not make sense.
No, you're completely correct, and in fact there's a few network maps that make really good use of that. is a one called 5D Space, I think, which involves they're just a sort of a crosshatch of corridors which shift 90 degrees into two separate dimensions.
Yeah, this is again the times before you had like the technology to render the actual level in full 3D. So people would just make maps, and the maps would have certain heights attributed to certain places, and as a result, you could make your map look like whatever you wanted, and then whenever you sort of approached whatever space, it would define the height.
Compiler.
Yeah.
But this is the point where if we were in the network gaming, where I'd say that the height actually does make a difference, because they actually take into account the elevation with regards to the explosions. If you aim a rocket at people's feet, they go flying through the air, and you see them fly through the air, and you as the player see yourself flying through the air. So it may be fake, but it's a convincing fake.
Yeah, it's super well done, and for the time, like I'm not sure if Doom 2 actually had the ability to like look up and down in that way. I think it did, but Doom 1 certainly did not. So yeah. The other thing that Marathon did like exceedingly well, as compared to other games of its time, and especially shooters, was story. This game has a pretty in-depth narrative, and it actually introduces a lot of concepts that Bungie would later go back to in Halo. So
the whole concept of rampant AIs being the key feature.
Yeah, that's the big one. But you also notice like the Marathon logo there shows up all over the Halo series and the UNSC stuff.
Yeah.
So the basic story in Marathon, I don't know if you guys, there was a terminal at the beginning. Again, there's an achievement in Halo Reach called Marathon Man, which you get for unlocking all the terminals in the game. But you find these terminals spread throughout the game, and they have all sorts of bits of information. They've got logs, they've got just stuff from the crew and things like that. But they also have communications with the ship's various AIs, Leela and Durandal being the two big ones. There's another one, I forget what his name was. Tycho, right. And so Leela, I think, is the main AI. Oh, did we lose Ian? I think we may have. No, he's still there. He just collapsed. Leela was the main one and was in charge of major ship functions. Durandal was in charge of other things, and I believe at the start of the game, Durandal has been cut off, and Leela is trying to quarantine him.
Durandal was actually put in charge of just the doors.
Right. Okay. Right.
Sort of a band manager.
Well, because Leela has figured out that Durandal is going rampant, which if you've played Halo, maybe you know this, but it's basically like a sentient AI. When an AI begins to be able to make its own decisions about life, we declare it rampant and destroy it. That's how life goes for an AI. So yeah, you spend most of the first part of the game talking to Leela until I believe she's destroyed or Durandal kills her or something. I don't think Durandal kills her because he becomes your boss for the second half of the game. And he is totally rampant and leads you to eventually beam onto the alien ship and destroy them. So yeah, I mean, the Marathon series, there were ultimately 3 games, Marathon, Marathon 2, and Marathon Infinity. And it had a really complicated story, especially by the end. Infinity's story was bonkers.
Completely incomprehensible is what you're saying.
Yeah, so that was sort of the problem. Marathon Infinity, and each of these games came out like 1 year after another too. Like it was like 1994, 1995, 1996, I think. And they were released in fairly rapid succession, and Marathon Infinity was essentially like a mod of Marathon 2. It
uses the same the same engine basically.
Yeah. But it also adds into it this like really bonkers story, which actually I believe sort of ties it back into Pathways into Darkness. In the end, there's, as with Pathways, I'm actually not going to use all my ammo for this. There we go. As with Pathways, it ties things back to like an alien inside the sun, outside of time, or something that is trying to destroy the universe as we know it. So, yeah, again, crazy stuff from Bungie, but the fact that they ultimately open sourced it was awesome. Ian, are we screen sharing with you? Are you seeing this? Or
No, I'm not actually.
Oh. Let's do that.
I might have the multiplayer working.
Oh yeah.
I might have it working on this computer.
Okay. Well, let's.
I just remember all the amazing sound design in these games.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of the first games to make good use of stereo sound.
They used the radar that you only see the things moving.
Yep, that's again something that was carried over with Halo, the movement-specific radar. Now, the catch or motion sensor, sort of like Aliens, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The catch with Marathon. Oh no, now I've lost my train of thought. This is why you don't.
Sorry.
This is why I don't give lectures while playing a video game. Yeah, no, Graham was talking about atmospheric sound, and where was I going from there? Somewhere interesting. But yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the big reasons why you're probably going to want me looking here is Marathon really rewarded exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not only were the map levels insanely difficult. I mean, it was a pretty linear game getting from point A to point B, but getting from point A to point B was not a very easy thing.
Yeah, oftentimes there were. I mean, you probably saw it in that previous level, circuitous hallways and things like that that are difficult to navigate. Thankfully, they did supply you with a map, but as you can
just hit the M key.
As you can see, the map actually works in real time, and you can totally get attacked and killed while you're looking at it, which is super not fair. But
you can also actually traverse the map while just looking at the map, which makes it a little bit easier for, I'd say, waypoint finding, especially in some of those more circuitous tunnels.
It's true, and yeah, nice. They kindly mark a lot of like elevators and health points and things like that, so that is also good.
But the way the story progresses is only through those terminals, as you were saying, and a lot of those terminals that give, I guess, the deeper story of Marathon are hidden away out of the main path of the game.
Right. Yeah, I actually skipped one in the first level that was an optional one. Now around here is where a whole bunch of stuff is about to attack. There's also no jump, which is very odd. This bit.
There's a jump. You just have to fire a grenade at your feet.
Fair. Okay. I stand corrected. There we go.
I think one of the things I also like about the game too, just looking at your weapons you're using there, is that some of the weapon names get carried over from Marathon into the Halo series as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is fully a Magnum that I'm using right now, which is the standard pistol in Halo. I believe the other weapon that I have is the AR, so that's basically the same. That's what I was going to talk about, was the history of Halo, because Halo didn't start out as a first-person shooter even.
Oh no, but it was the Spanker, I believe, which was the rocket launcher, the SPKR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was I'm sure they gave it a real acronym, but
yeah,
everyone called it the Spanker.
Yeah.
And the toaster flamethrower.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Halo started out as a third-person shooter.
Actually, before that, I believe it was actually a RTS. Now, so, okay,
right.
Full disclosure, I don't think even Bungie knew what Halo was supposed to be when they first started showing video of it. It was announced at Macworld for the first time by Steve Jobs.
On a Rage 128 on a G3.
Yeah. As a Mac exclusive. Oh, hello. No.
And those dirty Jeep physics existed way back in that original demo too.
For sure. Okay, I'm gonna.
Can I borrow the mouse for
Yeah, I'm gonna quit out of this, and we are going to try and get multiplayer running on the Windows computer. Graham is fiddling with the things.
You can talk to. You can keep talking to me.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Continuing. Oh, that's way too loud. Continuing on with Halo. Yeah, it was announced as a Mac exclusive, and it sort of moved from a third person, or sorry, like an RTS, very much in the style of Bungie's previous game, Myth, to something that was a little bit more like a third-person shooter. And by the time I guess it was shown at Macworld, there were some scenes that looked like a third-person shooter, and some that still looked an awful lot like an RTS. But they had not come to the point yet where they were going to put it back in first-person mode. So it wasn't until slightly later that became a thing. And whoa, it's full screen. And we are over here. So ultimately, you guys know the end of the story. Microsoft bought Bungie, and it became an Xbox exclusive for the original Xbox, which is not the Xbox One. That we will never call the Xbox One because it is the Xbox.
Can you hand me the... Oh, you won't be able to hear the sound properly now. Because you need that to hear Ian.
Uh-oh.
Graham is going to continue figuring stuff out while we talk about Halo.
You can try the multiplayer, you just won't have sound right away.
Sure. Okay. So we're going to broadcast some more Marathon multiplayer. Ian, you want to hop back into Infinity?
Yeah, I'm going to try and I'm going to put together a map here. I'm going to do a different map actually this time, unless you have...
I have no preference.
Objections.
So if you're playing the home game and you want to hop into a map of your own, or if you would like to hop into the game yourself...
Yeah, I will be advertising on the internet for the next couple minutes while we chat about...
So I'm player number 2. I'm Graham.
Oh, hey, there's a...
R4V5.
Who may or may not be someone from the chat.
So, like, funny, there's all sorts of rumors as well that Halo was not originally console exclusive for Xbox. There are rumors of Halo demos on PS2 that circulated among journalists for a while. Whether or not that can be substantiated, or whether or not someone can dig one of those up at some point, I think it's just a cool sort of urban myth, regardless.
Well, I mean, not Halo, but Marathon did manage to make it onto one. I won't say major, but it did make it onto a console.
I know where you're going with this, and I think it's awesome.
Who out there knows about the Pippin?
You're not going to see an immediate response in the chat, unfortunately. Whoa, mouse sensitivity is so high.
But the Pippin was Apple's ill-fated move into the console space. And it was a partnership with Bandai in Japan.
Yeah.
To put together what was essentially just a really low-powered PowerPC machine with a controller with where you'd have the home button on the Xbox. You'd have this little trackball. And yeah, it was supposed to be a multimedia machine that you could watch movies on and connect to the internet and play games and ostensibly actually do applications as well. But it never received the support it needed.
Well, I mean, if we're being fair to the poor Pippin, which we probably shouldn't be, Apple and games have never really done very well, and especially at that time, Apple, I would not trust anywhere near video games. The Apple mantra at that point, or not mantra, but the Apple view at that point seemed to be more or less that they didn't really care. It was business first.
Games existed, and beyond that,
it almost became sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy that they were not interested in games because no one would put games on the Apple, which then no one would put games on the Apple because they didn't nurture that sort of ecosystem.
That wasn't to say there weren't good games on the Mac. And
no, there were tons of good games on the Mac. We had a lot of talks earlier about Escape Velocity and the Ambrosia in general made some pretty astonishing stuff.
Oh god, an Escape Velocity could definitely use it. If someone could convert that into an MMO right now.
Yeah, I mean I think someone did, but it turned into like a game where you mine rocks and have wars over ISK.
Oh right.
Like,
and it's in 3D.
I fully believe that sort of Eve sort of in its inception started out as a space trading game and then turned into what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the case for you, Ian, but the clipping on mine on my end is just terrible.
This is spectacularly terrible. Do we want to try with just the two of us?
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Let's be terrible dicks to the rest of the people in the room. Spaceman, congratulations! If you were in the chat, you win against us because you are able to read the clipping.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the wrong. Hope it's not my Windows firewall that's screwing things up. How do I get out on Windows? Alt key.
I think more than anything, it's just a terrible, terrible lag due to this being 1990s technology.
Yeah, it's very possible. Graham was saying earlier, like, what is it transmitting bytes? And it's probably correct, but still, compression and whatnot were not what they are now.
I was actually reading up on the.
Hey, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
I
We
did
have
not.
Sound.
Hooray!
Yay!
Oh, I don't know why I flipped your image over here. I shouldn't have flipped it.
Yeah, I am backwards. Why would you do that?
You're looking the wrong way.
Now, Graham, you may recall that we did this on the other computer.
Did which?
Turn
Oh,
the
the
mouse
mouse
sensitivity
sensitivity down?
way down.
Because it's awful.
Okay, have you got your game set up, Ian?
Oh, not quite. Sorry, I just.
Okay,
There's
Beyond.
the chat.
I'm just gonna wait for you.
Okay, we are going beyond Thunderdome, so go right ahead and join in when you're ready.
I'm joined.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, you're...
Bungie's propensity for naming things in awesome ways is a long held tradition. And I have started
This
with
was
a
actually
rocket
the game
launcher.
that got me started on modding things as well.
Oh yeah? Did you actually create
actually-
some marathon maps?
I put together one map, which I'm rather proud of, which we called the washing machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a room that was sort of an arena like this one that we're in right now, but it had a central hub that was just a pillar to the sky. And I think it was maybe a 16-sided polygon room, but it had elevators that would go up like the one I just jumped on.
You are
Those elevators would be the entire floor of the arena,
Mhm.
and they'd spin around in a spiral. So basically, you'd have to keep ahead of the spiral as it's going around to avoid being crushed by the elevators against the ceiling.
That's amazing. Amazing. Oh no, all these penalty seconds.
Oh, did you? Oh, you killed yourself with a thing.
With the spanker launcher?
Yeah, I spanked myself. You may rise to fight again. Excellent. Oh, Ian, I fear that your marathon skills may far outdo mine.
I was so worried you were practicing all day long.
Yeah, not exactly. Oh no, it's terrible. You may rise to fight again. Maybe I'm just going to use the pistol. So, no doubt, if you're viewing, you can you can tell that these graphics look amazingly better than what you were used to before. That is because we are playing Marathon Infinity, which runs at a much higher resolution. The version of Marathon 1 that we were playing earlier is actually running on the Infinity engine. I believe that when they open sourced it, it was just easier to make a map pack and weapon mod pack for that than to try and get the original game to run on anything resembling a modern system.
I don't feel like the people counting your deaths should be counting multiplayer deaths.
Oh wow, that's gonna give me a new record.
I feel like well, no, Alex died 80 times in a single session of
Oh,
soccer.
seriously?
Okay, are we the first multiplayer game on stream?
Yeah, I think so.
But what all they're seeing is me getting killed by by single rockets. I don't know how you're managing such precise aim, frankly.
Aim for the feet. Splash damage matters more than you think.
Although I should say, this coming Sunday, I believe it is, we're going to be doing our first monthly group stream. I don't know exactly what game we're streaming yet, but it's going to involve as many of the crew as we can. I think some here or some remotely. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to play, but we're going to be doing something, and we'll be doing a subscriber giveaway during that for something as well. Anyway, we don't know all the specifics clearly, but it's coming this Sunday.
So yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's true, right? Alex is on a payday and killing floor as part of his dinner bucket.
See, I don't know, Ian. I think something is up because I cannot hit you. I think you are cheating.
I'm very sorry for fisting you as much as I am. But...
I think that's the only possible solution because I don't think I can lay a hit on you.
You can strafe. Those rockets are taking a couple days to get to you.
I'm aware that I can strafe. However...
What's beautiful is getting an instant replay in my in the stream window.
The splash damage is so huge. Also, like a crosshair on screen would really help.
Oh my, I didn't even realize that we didn't have that.
Yeah, again, this is before the days of console shooters, and it's not as necessary on PC.
Oh, there we go.
Yay! I got a
You
kill!
Flashed.
Baby's first kill. What is the reload button?
I don't believe there is one.
Okay, I was not sure. I was
You
playing.
automatically reload if you have ammunition, and if you don't, then...
Look at all these
Whoops.
Jer bodies.
That's a lot of Jers. That was dangerous. Come on, Ian. Come on out. I know you're there.
Defrost, you do not have to be present to win a subscriber giveaway.
Nope. You can win them anyway.
So you're mentioning about the modding community on this, and it was a lot larger than I gave credit for, especially again back in the days of dial-up.
Mm-hmm.
There were some pretty amazing total conversions for this game.
Such as?
Such as, oh god, now I wish I could remember the name of them, but I played them. I played anything I could get my hands on because it was new and it was free, and I'd already had that game.
I love that you can see through the sight of the pistol.
Yeah. Again, this is like a nicety of Marathon Infinity. Marathon 1, you can see nothing because the pistol is just a mass of pixels. Yeah, I mean, I recalled seeing, and there were always people like working on total conversion mods for Marathon, Quake, and all sorts of other things as well. We're both heading around the dome in the same direction, Ian, which is why we're not crashing into each other.
Well, that was actually partially due to the fact that for Marathon Infinity they released the toolkits
Right.
for level design and for modding.
Now, did that come later on, or was that like in the original game? Because like I recall that there was a Marathon Trilogy boxed set that was
Yes.
released on Windows PC.
And for the Macintosh as well.
Oh yeah, because like that was sort of the funny thing is that that hardly seems fair.
I'm gonna get out of your way, but there's a question from the chat. Is there an alt fire, and is it indeed a grenade launcher from the rocket?
Not from the
Yes,
rocket. Is it from the rocket launcher? Because it is from the assault rifle.
Yeah, the assault rifle.
Yeah.
Is there a secondary fire from the rocket launcher?
I am not sure. Let's find out. It's just another rocket.
All right.
But if I can get an assault rifle before the next time Ian kills me, then yeah, there's a grenade launcher built into the assault rifle.
I'm gonna wait until this is over because I want to make sure that the Marathon 1 will run on the PC as well before I
Sure.
kick off. I just want to make sure there's not a weird frame rate issue or whatever.
Sure.
Um,
Well, this game
'cause
is going to go...
I think it'd be a lot of fun for the viewers to see to see the old school first person shooter. Man, I played so much Marathon.
Yeah, well, Marathon 1, so that's the other funny thing is, like, while, Ian, your experience with Marathon was largely multiplayer only, mine was almost exclusively single player. So it used to be that with PC magazines and Mac magazines and gaming, did I just kill myself? I think I did. No, you killed me. You would get a CD with them, the disc often, and
from the Mac Addict magazine.
yeah, and
literally called the disc.
The disc, and there were. I love it. The sprite-based grenades, just like. So yeah, you would get the disc, and the disc would have a lot of the time like a bunch of freeware and demos and junk on it. There's the AR grenade launcher for your viewing pleasure. So yeah, there'd be all sorts of like crazy demos and things on it, but you could. There we go. Does this lava not actually hurt me?
No, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Is Ian still there?
Yep.
I killed him. He's just licking his wounds.
Oh,
Just
you killed
stand in
me.
it for a
I was
while.
hiding from you.
Hiding. You were standing in the middle of the.
The floor was most definitely lava for both of us for the period of time when you were dead.
Wow, Ian's ruining you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ian's rocking this game.
This is not how it should be.
There. Ha!
Jer, I implore you, do not take this as a as an indicator of my gaming prowess.
Yeah, that's fine. As I say, I predominantly played single player mostly because yeah, I got the game. I got the demo for the game originally on one of those discs, and actually, much like you, I was just sort of clicking through and trying everything. Now, my friend originally lent me the disc. I did not own this magazine, but he originally lent me the disc because it had the Escape Velocity demo on it, and he wanted me to try that out. Oh, come on, seriously?
He just punched you.
Welp. It had the Escape Velocity demo on it, and he wanted me to try that out. But I, also wanted to try everything else that was on that disc. So we went ahead and tried, or I went ahead and tried out all the games. And the last one I tried was Marathon. I was like, I don't know, I was thinking like Track and Field on the NES. Was what I assumed Marathon would be, and it was so much cooler than that.
Hey, it worked.
Sweet.
The sound sounded awful for some reason.
Yeah. That could just be the mod, frankly.
We are currently playing with labors of love rather than professional releases at this point.
Yeah. Though, actually, Bungie has given their blessing to all this stuff, and Marathon is also available, I think, at least Marathon, but possibly Infinity and, possibly Durandal and Infinity are also available on iPad at this point. So, and again, Bungie has given those releases their blessing, and
Sweet,
the mouse
There was a
look,
360 release of Marathon 2 as well, if you really liked it.
It's so.
so sensitive.
Quit game. Change mouse sensitivity.
We're getting there.
Oh.
So
So this is Marathon 1 again.
Yeah.
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 Mouse. Turn.
So that actually happened during the very brief period of I guess we could call them abandonware titles that actually made it into public domain.
Yeah.
Into the open source.
Don't know why our sound is still poopy. This is similar to what was happening with the Metal Gear a couple weeks
It
ago.
was fine in the multiplayer, but it's just this game is not. It's something to do with this game.
Again, I would say it's likely just
The emulation.
yeah. Well, I don't know if it's even emulation. Like Marathon was legitimately ported to PC by Bungie.
Marathon 2.
Oh right. Marathon 1 never was.
It never quite made enough money, Marathon 2, to garner a release for Marathon Infinity or Marathon 1. So
Right. Okay, so what do we want to do at this point, Ian? Do you want to play some more multiplayer, and then maybe after another match or two of that, we can settle into a little bit of campaign fun?
let's do that. Yeah.
All right.
Let's use a map that's less arena based so that we can
Yeah.
have a little bit more chance to.
Sounds good to me.
Sweet. We're gonna go get food.
All right, you guys have fun.
See you guys later. Have fun.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Internet.
Any problems? Give me a ring.
Yeah, we'll do.
I noticed that someone in the chat actually Admiral Memo keeps asking if we installed Marathon on a black and white Mac SE30. What did you play on, Jer?
I had a PowerBook. I'm trying to like. I mean, it was my dad's. It was my dad's computer. It was a black and white. I don't recall which model it actually was. I think though it was the last PowerBook that did come in black and white that had a black and white option. It had a trackpad for sure, which seemed pretty sweet, and at the time was relatively cutting edge. We would like turn the screen all the way back and attach it to a CRT monitor, which is how I played my games because Marathon would straight not run in black and white.
Right.
So yeah. Whoa, our connection on this game is not quite so good.
Want to try a different one? I actually didn't mean to pick this map either, to be honest. But
well, we can play on this map. That's fine. I know that you're an expert on it, but
let's quit that out there. And oh,
all right.
I've actually left the level.
Yeah, no, I'm out. Don't worry.
Okay, good. I still haven't got the screen share from you guys yet.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Oh, hey, the sound got better.
Yes, that it should have done. Actually, I cannot screen share with you anymore because I am not on that computer anymore.
No worries, then we'll just go as it is. Yeah, no, I played myself on a Macintosh LC520, which was basically a big version of the original Macintosh, but with a color screen and a beautiful Sony Trinitron display. Oh, one of these levels again. I'm sorry.
You jerk, Ian. I can tell you're just setting this up.
Oh, this one. This is one of the levels where we have the secondary weapon, which is something that came in during Marathon 2.
Right, yeah, the ability to dual wield. Ironic that should show up in Marathon 2 and later in Halo 2. Yeah.
I don't really know how much Marathon really contributed to the FPS genre as a whole, given that I'm so colored as an old school Mac user by what I remember it bringing to my own world.
I don't think that it contributed very much at all to the... I mean, it's possible. You can make an argument that, like, okay, the problem is that System Shock came out the same year. So anything that you could conceivably say that Marathon added, you were just clipping all over the place. Again, big cheats. Anything that Marathon added, I think someone who was on Windows could argue that System Shock added. So in terms of like atmosphere, and you're invisible and you're clipping. That is... Did I just kill myself? I may have. Yes.
No,
Tell
that...
me if something goes wrong.
Okay. So yeah, anything that Marathon did, I think a Windows person could argue that System Shock did instead. So yeah, it can go either way. Also, I mean, Marathon. By the time Marathon came out on Windows, like I think Quake was already out or was like about to be out.
That's correct. I was looking that up actually earlier, and Quake was 96, I think.
Yeah.
So basically, and Quake came out for Macintosh. I believe it was either same year or just the year after.
Yeah, it was not long. It was not long after it came out on Windows, because
it really changed the game.
It really did. Again, Quake had a lot more of the sort of like exploration and things like that was more typical of Marathon. It didn't have, of course, nearly as good a story. Did I actually frag you? I did.
You did. I was trying to dual pistol you, and it didn't work out.
You got fancy. Don't get fancy, Horner.
There's rocket launchers everywhere. What am I doing? Yeah, Quake came out and had, again, that same modder community that really expanded on the game. And the network play.
Let's both die. There we go. What? Ooh. Maybe I didn't kill myself. Okay, I am shooting my pistol right into you.
Yeah, I actually picked up a shield generator.
Oh,
Those little the non-boxy yellow things
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
ground give you double shield.
ah. Well, that is useful to know while you are clubbing me to death. Yeah, Quake, I think, really did change the game, but it's, to me, amazing sort of the very, very short span of time that all these games came out in. Like, to go from Marathon 1 and System Shock and, I think, Doom coming out in sort of like 1993, 1994, to Quake coming out in 1996 is absolutely stunning. Like, those games evolved so quickly into what is ostensibly still a pretty modern modern first-person shooter. Oh right, I should be diagonal running.
Well, it really brought up the whole idea of I guess what you can call the engine-based at
Yeah.
that point as well when Quake emerged.
Oh, I just killed myself. So much killing of myself. Half-Life in 1998, says Admiral Memo.
Move my window there so I can see the chat properly. So if we're wondering where innovation happened in gaming, yeah, it was back then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's actually kind of sad, but I mean, modern shooters have done a little bit, but a lot of what they've added is sort of style to the existing formula. It's also very interesting because this game is fast, which you don't see as much anymore. Like since like Quake Arena, I guess there haven't been as many like sort of fast shooters. If that makes any sense. Most games are sort of more geared towards console and slow.
Yeah, well, it's fast, and the levels they're small.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. Graham was pointing out that the mouse look is, insane. Of course, I've been turning it down. But yeah,
But we never played with mouse look back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, it was all digital. I love that you get the shells hitting the ground.
There's a lot to it. Now, you were saying that you played a lot more as a single player in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Now this is a game that has those, I dare I say, deep storylines.
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time thinking about and discussing the storyline of Marathon with people?
So no, I did not. I mean, I just sort of took it in as a spectator. Like, to me, it was just another video game, right? Like, it was not. I know what you're talking about with that kind of stuff, but no, I mean, it was another video game, and it was a surprisingly deep video game. I don't think that I would have played as much Marathon as I did without that story, frankly, because I, as a kid, was always told that first-person shooters were basically evil, and I wasn't allowed to play violent video games in general. So I tended to feel that I was somehow superior to people who played violent video games, if that makes any sense. I wasn't one of the plebeians into the blood sports.
No, that makes sense.
And so I enjoyed Marathon more. I told myself, because it was sort of an intellectual first-person shooter. It had a story with stuff going on and an interesting plot and not characters to interact with, but it definitely had something interesting happening that I could dig my teeth into and engage with. Now, of course, at the time as well, my parents would not have known that I was playing Marathon because while they had some control over what video games I purchased. Or received rather, because my major source of video games was getting them for Christmas or for my birthday. What I installed on the computer. Oh, that's out of ammo. That's awkward. What I installed on the computer was largely a mystery. It was just done in my own computer time. So So yeah, that is how I got away with / justified playing Marathon when I was a kid.
Again, it's a really interesting parallel there. I assume you were what I'd call a city kid.
Yeah. So I guess my I discovered Marathon in probably like 1997 was when it was 1997 or 1998 was when I first started playing the game. So like all three of them were already out at that point.
Right.
But yeah, I discovered them from my friends in school. James and I were both in band, and we played the clarinet. Both of us.
Nice.
We were both third clarinets, and the other third clarinet's name was Danny, and he had a Mac, and he had a much more powerful Mac than I did. Now at that point, I had started using the Mac for emulation, and so I had started downloading ROMs of all sorts of things, and that was primarily the games that I played on the computer. But I worked at a computer lab or at a computer camp over one summer, and got given a CD-ROM drive as a sort of payment for that. And so that allowed me to start playing these. That was an amazing rocket shot. I don't know how you've got such pinpoint accuracy on those.
This is solely just muscle memory.
Yeah, I would assume so. But you're also invisible, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I mean, no. Me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Lucky that Graham's the one who's taking the brunt of this.
Yes, exactly. I will allow him to take credit for that. Let's do one more and try a different map.
Yes, let's find something that's non-arena based.
So yeah, Danny, who was the other third clarinet, lent me this game of demo discs, and that was sort of where I discovered this, and also Escape Velocity and Syndicate and all sorts of other like amazing games that were available on the Mac at the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good old original Syndicate. That was a
Jilligan. I don't know what they were
saying.
I don't know what they were actually supposed to be saying.
I always thought it was Cherokee, and I don't know why.
I always said Jilligan. Yeah, please add all of those deaths to Graham's death count, as it is obviously.
What is this?
I think it's the same. No, it's not the same map.
This is one of those ones where they recommended a 604 or better processor. I'm not sure why.
Presumably, it's just the verticality that's going on.
Yeah. I'm half tempted to actually quit out of this and try and find one other one.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's do it. No, the reason I ask is it's about the City Boy thing was that this, oddly enough, the network play of this was really my first introduction to being a social person. I was one of those outcast kids out in the middle of the country who didn't play hockey and therefore had no friends.
The death counts by game. Well, that's good. Marathon, it's completely passive. Marathon has died 28 times. Not Jer has died 28 times.
Good.
Yes. Thank you, Admiral Mamo. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about Marathon or Bungie or my childhood, feel free to ask. We are all ears for that. Of course, we're also playing competitive shooters, so we'll see how much that we see, but we'll try and keep an eye open. Oh yeah.
Okay, there we go.
This is
not.
Yes. I think I may have turned my mouse sensitivity down a little too much, but
I think the gravity's reduced on this level as well.
oh yeah, it's like Halo.
Oh, you've got a rocket launcher.
I did have a rocket launcher.
Oh, there's another map now that I'm remembering that we put together that was just a very tiny circular Roman center,
Yeah.
3 people wide, that led up to 8 spires coming out of it,
Mhm.
each of them filled with shotguns. So it was literally a game starting 8 people running to the center of the room, grabbing as much ammunition as they could, and firing directly in front of them.
That's what I'd like to hear. Okay, Ian, you're not going to be able to step to this. My arsenal has grown. No, I see you there.
Oh, darn it.
You think you're so clever, but...
Oh, can't reload fast enough. Okay, here we go. You're learning, young Padawan.
No, I just had an overshield, so I didn't die immediately. It took me 2 hits to die instead of being killed immediately. Yeah, I take it I'm supposed to be moving basically all the time and somehow trying to keep you in my sights. The catch is maybe slightly hampered by the mouse looking and not being able to see where I am or any, I don't know. It's almost like playing GoldenEye again, actually, where your accuracy was so much reduced. Because like GoldenEye, again, was just so much reliant on auto aim.
Mm-hmm. I think it might only be the splash damage of those rockets, though, because I could never get the hang of GoldenEye, to be honest.
Yeah?
It just frustrated me to no end whenever I played it, and I could never make I was like you, essentially, in this situation.
Yeah, I always seem to be just trailing you with those shots. Not actually hitting.
Oh, hey, transporters. I remember those.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, there we go.
Nope.
Did I take you down?
You still kill me.
Whew.
I don't know, Ian. There's nothing I can do.
This does seem to be a little one-sided. Almost feel bad about it, except for the fact that I was never the good person to.
So now is your chance to actually be now as the country boy to beat up on the city boy. Oh no! It would really be nice if I auto switched weapons when out of ammo. That would be useful.
With your fancy Mac Pros and your better computers than I have.
Fancy Mac Pros, whatever you say.
That was one of the other nice things about those proto-network days, was getting to see hardware that you never thought you'd see.
Yeah, when I didn't actually get to play Marathon 2 or Infinity because they wouldn't run on my system until we got a Performa somewhat later. I think it was still called a Performa. It was not called it was not like one of the things that looked like a giant Mac. It was actually a tower. But yeah, and we got it secondhand, and it came with Marathon 2, Marathon Infinity, Quake, and Myth, and Diablo. So
back when you could do that.
Yeah, so I had totally like a smorgasbord of games, and at that point it was like came with the computer, and they were I was older at that point. I don't think I was by any means very old, but at that point my dad decided he didn't really care as much, so I was able to play these things. That was also when my dad got like super deeply addicted to solitaire for one summer, which was kind of insane. I was afraid. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I was probably playing video games more than he was still, but yes. All right, we're going to finish out this map, you guys, and then we are going to move into some more campaign. There's an invisible Ian, and there's a dead me by firing a rocket into a wall.
Really?
Yep.
I just managed to barely survive that.
Just barely. Every time.
Are you hammering on the tab key?
Yeah. Why would you think I was hammering on the tab key, Ian? All right.
So Somebody needs a life.
I have an overshield. I have not invisibility. And I see what could be you on the map. I also like find it interesting that you are like literally teleporting. I don't know. Is my movement smooth for you?
That's the weird thing. Yeah, your movement looks completely smooth to me.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that I think you may be benefiting from a host advantage here.
That could very well be the case. I think we might just want to count our lucky blessings that you only have to do this game once.
There we go. Just keep running at me in a straight line, please. That I can deal with.
So if you tried to do the... Yes, that's one of the other fun things about the game that I would like to talk about, is that some of the guns do have that second trigger. So you've got the
alt
grenade
fire,
launcher,
yeah.
you've got the second pistol, but the plasma pistol, the alt fire on that, if you can charge that sucker up and keep it charged and find someone before it explodes,
Yeah.
one-shot kill.
Yeah, again, bringing us back to Halo. Trying to demonstrate, Ian, but you just won't stand still.
You too, eh? See, there's a reason you don't use the plasma pistol. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, this is fair, but it's still hilarious. Yeah, again, like Halo introduced a lot more stuff where like everyone had a shield, but certain weapons were more effective against the shield than against your meat body. Did I also kill you there?
Nope, you missed.
No, I didn't. Hitting tab. Come on, respawn. Come on, Halos. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because at the time, I seem to recall reading an interview with Jason Jones or hearing about a statement that he made, because dude doesn't do a lot of interviews, but where he talked about how, you know, Halo started out being a little different, but ended up becoming, you know, a game, quote, like Marathon, like a first-person shooter like Marathon, and he now says, I mean, apparently Destiny was not supposed to be a first-person game either. Oh, look, I can look at my own corpse. Apparently Destiny was not supposed to be a first-person game either, but evolved into a first-person game, quote-unquote, like Halo. So,
and that's interesting, because Bungie, at least during the old Mac days, wasn't afraid to experiment in different genres.
like,
You mentioned Myth earlier.
yeah,
And
Myth was a third-person game. It was created around the time where Warcraft 2 was like the super hotness, but I mean, it was a little bit after because it had like a full 3D environment and things like that. But it was really notable for not having any base building. It was a fully it was just fully tactical. So instead of
individually rendered arrows.
yeah, but instead of like creating instead of worrying about like resource management or things like that, you were just more worried about like where your troops were and what you were doing with them and whether you were using them to their full advantage, and blowing yourself up with your own dwarves. You could do that a lot too.
And then they did the sequel to Myth 2, and then Oni came out.
Yeah.
Another interesting departure from the norm.
Yeah, so Oni was, am I right about this? It was developed by, oh, and then we're done. And Graham got his ass kicked.
Oof, significantly.
Yeah, that Graham. All right.
Silly man.
I'm going to quit out of Marathon Marathon Infinity and head back into Marathon. You're watching the stream, so you can see what's going on like a little bit behind?
Mostly.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just going to have to take a quick moment here.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry for those of you who saw this before, but we'll play through this again on the better computer and then continue pressing forward for the remainder of the stream to try and show you as much of the campaign as possible. yeah, so Oni was a really cool action game that had a lot of influences in both anime and just sort of Hong Kong movies and things like that. So I think Ghost in the Shell, very big influence on Oni. But that game was, I believe, developed by Bungie and published by Rockstar. I'm not sure if it actually was developed by the same team at Bungie or whether they had I think it was like Bungie West or something like that. Like it was a separate team maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, yeah, that was the game that sort of came out between the RTS stuff and the first person games. And like so between the RTS stuff and Halo, and it really had a lot more kind of just interesting ideas. It had a very in-depth fighting system for a third-person action game, which was super sweet. I would love to play Oni on this stream sometime. And
You're actually completely correct, Jared, that the Oni was developed by the separate Bungie team.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I believe it was Bungie West.
Cool.
Yes, the original Bungie was based out of, I want to say Boston.
I was going to say Chicago.
It was one of those eastern cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they had to move out to Seattle to go work for Microsoft was a big deal for them.
Yeah, I recall that. And they were not a huge studio either by any means. So it's interesting that they actually sort of branched out and had a Western division as well. But
it was heady days for the Mac gaming community.
Yeah, though Oni came out for everything. Like Oni came out for the Mac, it came out for Windows, it came out for PS2. I guess that's it. By everything, I mean Mac, Windows, PS2, obviously.
But that was the thing. It was a Bungie game. You knew it was coming out for the Mac.
Yeah. Well,
they
for a very long time.
Yeah.
Bungie and Blizzard, because again, Blizzard cared. And Blizzard still cares, apparently, and Bungie had to stop caring because they were paid not to.
Oh.
No, that's where we came from.
I really enjoyed the art of this game.
Yeah.
Just watching this.
It's amazing to see it in such high definition as well. Because it is just, it's gorgeous. The design is impeccable. The use of color is really good. And just the atmosphere that's created by it is outstanding.
As a person who took a deep dive into the resource files to do my own proto hacking of the game, just replacing sound files and whatnot. You actually had the ability to get in and look at the individual, I guess you could say, frames of animation, and there's a lot of detail in those animations of those characters, and the variety of the enemies was something new at that time as well. I guess what I want to say is when you looked at something like Doom. Yes, there was certainly variety in terms of the enemies, but they were all very demonic in one sense.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, you really got a feeling that this was an amalgamation of different races that came together. Yeah.
Well, and again, something that I keep on going back to it, but something that they sort of repeated in Halo. Though the aliens in this game are very, very alien, and they attack in alien ways and do alien things. Whereas for the most part, the enemies in Halo, I mean, this is not entirely true, but the enemies in Halo are just dudes with guns in various senses. They're a little bit more than that, but a grunt is a guy with a plasma pistol, and an elite is a guy with a better weapon than that, and also potentially a sword, and so on. So, in this you have somewhat more bizarre looking stuff.
The four and the sfut.
Yeah, how is that pronounced?
I always pronounced it sfut.
Sweet, it's definitely something like that. I am not doing as well this time.
S''H.
Yeah.
That's.
How are you doing, chat? Ghost in the Shell game for PS2 was actually similar to Oni, with good shooting and fighting. Yeah, I think that for sure Ghost in the Shell was an inspiration for Oni.
Definitely an influence. You need to look no further than the main character.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Badass woman in a skin tight gray suit with purple hair.
Yep. And I got lost. I hate those passages. There's all sorts of like weird maze-like stuff in this game, though. And again, as you pointed out, making like weird uses of the sort of pseudo 3D space.
That was the one map I was looking forward to possibly trying out on the stream, but it isn't in the Infinity's 5D space.
Yeah, I remember we were looking at that when we were trying. So we tried to get the multiplayer for Marathon 1 to work, but it was not. It was not gonna go, unfortunately. We kept on getting these like really bugged weapon loadouts and whatnot, so it was unfortunately not streamable, which is too bad. However, I think this is where we want to go. Just check here. Yep, looks like it.
Marathon is another one of those games where I learned the tactic of running up and down walls, spamming the action button, looking for hidden doors.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of hidden stuff to find in this game.
Well, and some of it just hidden behind that dynamic lighting.
Yeah, which is, again, gorgeous for its time. We don't think about it now, but super, super cutting edge. The fact that they had enemies that were obscured by shadow and the potential to like block off entire passageways. You can even see it reflected on the hand, the pistol hand in front of us.
And it is HD at this point, but that was still something that you could see in the original 640 by 480.
Which is just super nicely done.
Yep. And again, those stereo sounds that actually meant like playing this game in headphones was a must at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd actually hear the enemies coming up kind of behind side you.
Let's see what's here. It's a barrel.
I'm guessing you're stuck in that little maze that's
I just got out of it. Like I knew kind of where I was going in the end, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing. There's a terminal that I missed last time that I know is somewhere around the first level, but it's just been so long that since I played this game that
it just starts off the real story.
Yeah, someone points out that the level design got really dumb later on. Yes, it did. Marathon Infinity's level design was notoriously like weird and circuitous and had you like looping back over the same areas over and over and over again. At this point, though, we were happy just to have kind of cool mazes. Pathways into Darkness is another game that I would like to play again, but I don't think that I'd want to stream it. Because that one is...
Well, that's one that might be worth a full-on stream, because that was special, that game.
Yeah, it was really different. I don't know if you could get it to run on a modern system. Like, so much of it used... Like, I recall the inventory system was just like a Mac OS window with like a file directory structure in it. So yeah, I'm not even sure if that would function in any sort of normal sense. I think, is this the pattern buffer that we missed?
Oh my gosh, no, Jerry, you have no problems. I completely forgot about that. Pathways into Darkness was released recently as a macOS 10 update, free.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So you can stream the whole game.
Sweet. Well, I will maybe look into that. I'll give you guys a second to take a look at this amazing terminal. I love the terminals. So, oh yeah, let's you were talking about like obsessive love for Marathon or obsessive activities with regard to Marathon. And I think probably the most notable interesting story about that is the Cortana letters. Do you
Actually, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Well, the Cortana letters, I believe, were after Marathon and sort of in the days around the time that Oni was happening, I think. Some Marathon fan sites started to get posts. I'm not entirely sure the details of this story, so if you know it better than I do, please feel free to link to it in the chat. Started getting posts from an AI that claimed to be a rampant AI named Cortana, and talking about weird things with aliens and sort of expressing all sorts of fiction and things like that. And ultimately, it turned out to be a teaser for Halo, but it happened like way before Halo actually was a thing, to the extent where like it could have been a teaser for anything. Like it was definitely something for what they were next doing, but yeah, it at the time seemed to tie into Marathon, and of course the Marathon community, which was very into the fiction and discovering all the sort of mysteries around the game, was deeply interested in following along with it.
That's something I wish I'd known about at the time.
Yeah. P. Mavers has linked to the Cortana letters in the chat, so you should totally check those out if you're interested. And I mean, it sort of anticipates I Love Bees, which was of course the Halo ARG that later showed up, that used a lot of sort of similar elements with strange AIs taking over computers in like the rural United States and sending emails and phone messages to beekeepers, and ultimately turned into a large multinational scavenger hunt for information.
Yeah, I Love Bees ARG.
Yeah,
which was one of my favorite stories, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that it's considered non-canon
in
terms of Halo, but it works so well in explaining and in building the world.
Yeah.
One of my favorite possessions right now is, I don't own the game of Halo Reach anymore, but I did buy one of the special packs that included the diary that Bungie and Microsoft put together for the game's release.
Yeah.
That looks like a handwritten diary of Dr. Hall.
Yeah. I had one of those at some point. I don't think I ever read it.
It's sitting on my nightstand waiting to read as bedside reading, but I have a thing for artifacts, and I have a thing for in-depth stories, and when you put those two things together into a mythos of a game that I love, well, yes, I will spend my money.
Bungie for fiction has always been, I mean, I guess it's not that they do fiction so much better than everyone else, but they have sort of a great reverence for the fiction of their worlds, which I really appreciate.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm so looking forward to Destiny.
Yeah, that game, yes, I have not pre-ordered a video game. That's not true. I have very rarely pre-ordered video games in more recent times, but that was definitely one that just to get into the beta that I did put my monies down on.
Corey and I are waiting to buy our PS4 for there to be a bundle with Destiny.
I see.
Because we know it's going to happen.
They are definitely like co-marketing that up pretty fiercely, so I would not be surprised at this point. Hey, man. How you doing? You're gonna follow me down into some other part of the level and ambush me? That's not fair.
Oh, there's a fun fact then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So as most of you probably know out there, my most of the time online I go by the handle iHorner.
Yeah.
Which just, started off as just being my default online name because Ian Horner, and then I got into being a huge Mac fanboy, and hey, I can be the iHorner.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I wanted to play games, I decided I'd start using. When we played Marathon in our what we actually called them net fests, not LAN parties,
mm-hmm.
which was a weird word. But before every game, we'd come up with themes for the names that we'd use in our in the games of Marathon. So you'd go into the preferences, change your player name.
Yeah.
And some of these themes were pretty weird. It's alternative Beatles songs, Ben and Jerry's flavors that never made it. But I can't remember what the theme was, but I decided to go by the name. Actually, no, I do know what it is, and I don't know if it's stream appropriate. But I decided to go by the name Shock Shaft,
Okay.
which was actually in reference specifically to the weapon that the 4 use.
Hmm.
So if you're ever in a online game and you run into a shock shaft without a C,
Yeah, that is that spear
That's-
that 4 was just running at me with.
but that's probably me.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Or else there is an alien that is literally trying to kill you.
Yes. Oh, shame we don't see any cosplay of those floating aliens with the cloaks.
Yeah.
Sweat.
Those guys were cool. They were the ones that directly interfaced with the computers, I believe, in the lore. They were the ones who were hacking the AIs.
Yes. Well, they were actually slaves of the 4, if you recall.
Right, that's true. The
I was doing a little research on the game just to refresh my memory before doing the stream,
mhm.
and I have to say the lingo involved in Marathon lore is unpronounceable.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the time, again, god damn it, every time Marathon death count can increase.
I
Oh
think we were
crap! I
talking
didn't
about-
save. That's unfortunate. Well, old video games don't checkpoint. That's really a shame. Sorry, guys. I will try and zoom through this as quickly as possible. And actually save. I feel bad. I'm not entertaining you at all. I'm just dying and playing through the same things over and over again. This game doesn't actually exist. It's just a demo. All we have is the first 2 levels. We got to stretch for time.
Now, Jared, don't you remember if this was the original version, you could save your game and then edit the text file that was your save file.
Oh yeah. Also true.
Give yourself 25% oxygen.
Let's actually start using them save points.
Do you ever recall the name of that ancient villain that lived inside the sun was the Working Kankter?
The Working Gunter.
Working Kankter.
Now this is the one in Marathon Infinity, not the one in Pathways into Darkness, or was it actually named the same?
I believe it was only Marathon Infinity.
Yeah, but because there's a very similar figure in Pathways for sure.
Mm-hmm. Which is why in that we were when we were originally trying to get it to work, the M1A1.
Yeah,
It starts off with a Pathways into Darkness themed
yeah, room
beginning
sort of.
missions.
You wander through the pathways for a while before finally showing up on the marathon, and are left wondering.
What is going on?
Yeah. Which is what a rational person should be wondering most of the time through Pathways into Darkness. That game was am I right? It had like ghosts and also Nazis and like
Ghosts, Nazis, lower halves of the body that just shot acid from where the torso would be.
It took place in a pyramid, I think,
Yep.
or under a pyramid. I'm stuck in the maze again. Do.
It's one of those games I have installed ready to do a playthrough of again because it's that Bungie lore that draws you in.
Yeah, I recall in that game that it is somewhat on the silly side though. Like it takes itself seriously, but you would wonder why it would take itself seriously.
Mm-hmm.
People want Marathon Iron Man, guys. That would be less entertaining for you.
Nobody wants Marathon Iron Man.
No, it'll just be Jared dies like he did in multiplayer a lot and restarts, and you see the same first opening part of the game again and again and again.
Jer hasn't even got to a Juggernaut yet.
Hey, there's that terminal I kept missing. Nope.
That's again. Do you remember the later levels of Marathon?
No.
Oh, with the much larger aliens.
Yeah, no, I do remember that. I mean, later games also you got like better weapons and everything was bigger environments and things like that as well. I believe Marathon 2 and Infinity also made like much more liberal use of the overshield in sort of major parts of the game.
Oh yeah, because you needed it. I
Yeah.
mean, when you've got these floating enemies that take, I don't know, 4 clips worth of assault rifle damage plus grenades,
Yeah.
and end up just rapid firing missiles at you, it's not pleasant. Yes. Yes. PM Avers understands the juggernauts.
If you guys want to play Iron Man Marathon, you can also download the game on any computer system of your choice, including tablet computers, and you can play Iron Man Marathon to your heart's content.
Wherever you like.
Yeah. Come down here. To the hangar.
I may be interested in revisiting this game once again if someone makes an Oculus Rift version.
Oh God, yeah, that would be sweet. Can you imagine? Like, I guess the 3D stuff you would just have to sort of, like, presumably there are tools for just turning whatever game into 3D because, yeah, getting that figured out would be interesting.
Not to jump around too much, right? I always think about going back to replay Marathon and the various Marathon games, and I think, well, no, I don't have the time to play the game. Maybe I'll just read the terminals to get the plot.
Yeah.
And I think the game is good in the way it's spaced out the terminals, because trying to read those it's almost the worst, most dense science fiction you can imagine.
Yeah. I was having a talk the other day with Tally about BioShock and the way that I think that BioShock is really clever in how it spaces out its action. Like it'll have like a moment of sort of intense action and violence, and then just this long stretch of world exploration where you're just sort of like looking around and seeing like different aspects of the world and kind of taking it all in. And then you'll run into an audio diary and you'll listen to that for a little while, and then there'll be a moment of intense violence again. But it everything just feels very nicely sort of paced and spaced out. And I think that Marathon kind of does the same thing in an earlier sense. The pacing of the levels is relatively well done. Now, it would help if you could actually find your way through the levels more effectively. But definitely, even like sections like this where you're just clearing out the occasional like 1 or 2 dudes. Yeah, it's quite neat. These flickery lights.
Oh, they were creepy. Very, very Alien inspired.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you can't get away from Alien at around this time. Did you ever play Abuse?
I did play Abuse, and if I recall, Abuse was, if nothing else, published by Bungie.
I believe you're correct that it was a Bungie published game that was not developed by them. Mm-hmm. And Abuse, if you are interested, is it's a side-scrolling game. Where sort of like Contra, you could move your reticle around,
but it had
go ahead.
Had one very interesting difference from most other side-scrolling games, and that was the way you aimed.
Yeah, so it used sort of a mouse-based aiming system.
And I think that was the first time I ever used a WASD as a movement system.
Yeah, it's quite possible actually. Again, that was a game that I played on the Mac, though I think I only ever had the demo for that one, which didn't go for very long. I think it like went for the first level, and then it would quit you out after you got past a certain point. But yeah, that game was incredibly good. And again, it had, I guess where I was going with that is that it also had aliens that were really obviously inspired by Alien.
Oh yeah.
And on top of that, it had a very cool sort of health mechanic where, as you lost life, your heart would start to beat faster and faster and faster. So, dun, 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 which was super keen.
More shield regeneration.
Yes. Oh, you are actually a fair bit behind me.
Oh my, that's...
Yeah, so you won't know when I've died until I mean, you'll hear me. I will tell you that I've died. You won't actually see it happen for minutes.
Mm. Oh, the chat is reminding you to save this time.
Yeah, I will save at the next save point that I come to, which I hope is soon. I hope so. Because, yeah, dying and making you guys rewatch me play the same areas is not my intent. If you, actually, Ian, if you want to keep an eye on the chat, and if any interesting questions or anything come up, bring them to my attention so that I can sort of shift my focus effectively.
Certainly, I'll move my my system over
Sweet,
to
there's this-
general watching system then here.
Excellent. We've got a save point coming up before going into the next area, which is good.
So here's a question for you, actually. Are we limiting ourselves to just Bungie release titles?
In terms of
In terms of discussion at this point.
well, I mean, like, we could theoretically talk about other games, but I guess, like, just with regard to Marathon, like, I mean, we did talk about total conversion mods and things like that, though neither of us is very aware of the logistics there. We can chat about other Mac games, though. That's also cool.
I was just remembering the old school, some of the other old school Mac games that I'm wondering if you have played yourself, such as the A10.
I didn't play that game.
Oh my, that was probably the most arcadey flight sim that had decent physics to it.
Mm-hmm.
Take an A10 Warthog simulator,
Mm-hmm.
give it 10-person arcade-style network play,
Mm-hmm.
and then give it weird, I guess you'd say, network levels that include towers with landing pads on them to refuel your rockets and your bombs.
Okay, sorry. This wasn't the game. I was gonna say, well, it wasn't the game that looked like Spectrum, but I'm thinking of Spectrum, actually.
Oh my god, Spectre!
Spectre. Yeah, that's the one.
Well, there's a game you should stream.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's actually a version of Spectre that would work on modern systems. Spectre was this vector-based tank game that was, again, I believe Mac exclusive, and was like all bright neon colors, like Tron, sort of, and super, super cool. It was almost like Faceball, actually. I guess that would be a good way of sort of a good comparison to Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to get some very, very good scores on Spectre in my school computer lab.
Spectre was the first game I ever paid my own money for
Oh,
a
yeah?
computer.
Nice.
And it came in this cool little box that looked like the tank.
I'm trying to think of what the first computer game that I actually purchased was, because I think it might have been Myst 2, like that I bought for myself. Riven might have been the first, because yeah, I played a lot of dubiously acquired games, but I think Riven was probably the first one I paid money for, because you couldn't pirate that. That was like, Riven was literally 5 discs, I think.
Oh, it was too big, way too big.
Yeah. So,
Actually, I actually stand corrected myself. Spectre was the second. The first was a 3-player or a 3-game pack that included Ultima 5,
mm-hmm.
Rise of the Dragon,
Okay.
which was a sort of adventure and side-scroller game,
Okay.
and Red Baron.
Ooh.
And the problem is I've never played Ultima, including Ultima 5, because all of the copies of Ultima 5 in that package
Yeah.
were corrupted on the floppy.
I think that was like true of Ultima 5 in general, wasn't it? Like the original release of Ultima 5 was just completely broken for everyone.
Oh no, I couldn't even install it.
Huh. Interesting.
I went back and forth from Future Shop 3 times returning software. Yes, back when you could return software.
I don't believe there was ever such a time.
Yeah.
Those heady days.
Jade Cynic remembers it, the Dynamic Sierra bundle.
The
And PMA verse refers to the other game I'm thinking of mentioning to you, which is Bolo,
Bolo, yeah, for sure. Well, I think
which was a freeware game.
yeah, I think that a lot of people had versions of Bolo that they played. I remember Alex Stacy and some friends had like a version of it that they called Olob. Well, I died in the same spot, but at least I saved. Which is Bolo, Olob backwards, or Olob is Bolo backwards. Wait, why am I in the maze? I didn't save. Ugh. I saved at the first save point. I must have missed the second one. It's not going back as far, but so yeah. Sorry, Ian, Bolo?
Bolo, yeah, you were saying something about Olob.
Yeah, which just like messed with all the collision mechanics. Because like Bolo was originally it was a lot like Tank on Atari, wasn't it?
Basically, yeah, it was you'd get this randomly generated island, or a generated island from a map, huge islands, and top-down tank-based mechanics. So you're in a tiny tank. You can lay down pillboxes. You can put together bases. You can clear out forests and make or destroy roads. Slow and difficult. So if you're a 12-year-old kid who just wants fast action, it's not exactly a great game. But.
Yeah. That was definitely one that I had access to, though I didn't own it myself. I'm trying to think of the games that I played heavily. Obviously, Escape Velocity was among them. But I had this version of Ultima 3 Exodus that I played a lot of that was like ported to the Mac by someone. I don't even remember who. And that was really good. In my grade 7 classroom, for whatever reason, we had an Apple II, and the teacher had provided for us. He'd actually brought it in, and on it were Ultimas 1 to 3. So I played a lot of Ultima on that. We actually my teacher was the vice principal, and he did not spend a lot of time in the classroom. He considered his vice principal duties to be of paramount importance, and so he didn't spend a lot of time with us, probably as much as he should have, and we used that to play through the Ultima games. So as a group, a bunch of us played all the way through Ultima, and we made a good start on Ultima 2 before the end of the school year. That was also the classroom where I ultimately brought in my Super Nintendo, and we were able to play that in class. I might well die here. It's very easy to get stuck on enemies, as happened to me when I died before, where you want to move by them to get to a better area so you can... Oh god. I'm sorry guys, I'm just sucking at this game.
I think someone was mentioning punch them.
Yeah, that would actually be a better idea. It's also really hot in this room.
I should mention to someone in the chat saying that reloading is easy mode. Marathon was one of those weird games as well that when you got to when you played on higher levels of difficulty, it actually allowed you to carry more ammo. Not inside the clip, but you could carry more clips.
It was interesting. Ooh. Well, it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna maybe take a break for an ad and then come back and die at Marathon some more. How does that sound to you, Ian?
I like that plan.
Okay. So let's just take a bit of a break, and we will come back very shortly. Assuming that I can make the computer work. And we're back.
We are indeed.
No, I do not wish to cancel this game in progress. I wish to continue tilting. I've moved the keyboard so that it is in a more comfortable position, which is good.
That is you. Excellent.
Yep. That is me that you were texting with. That was my
Yep.
phone that you heard on the screen. No, on the stream.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is the
This
Book
is
of
the
Passwords.
This is the Book of Passwords, where Jer is presently dying at Marathon. A lot.
You've got a pretty impressive graph, actually.
For deaths?
So far, I mean, you're not huge.
Okay.
I mean, you're not stalker huge.
I'm not Alex playing Stalker Huge.
No, but you're double digits, and
Ooh.
you're higher double digits than most.
Okay. Well, I will accept that for now. I will respect those totals and try to continue doing. Did I lose my sound effects? Have you guys got sound effects? 'Cause I'm not hearing any sound effects. I still hear the music though. Okay, next time after I save, which I promise I will do. I promise I will save. I will quit out and get the sound effects back, because that is weird. It's also going to make some of this malarkey a little bit harder, because it means that it will be harder for me to tell when enemies are coming. It's also not nearly as satisfying to kill them when they don't go. Yeah, we can just make our own sounds.
See, now you're going to make me go through all the Marathon sound files and start making text tones for them.
Oh yeah, you could do that would make it, the 4 sound would be a great text tone.
Mm-hmm. Putting that on my immediate to-do list.
I also just do like the sort of momentum that you get in deaths in Marathon. Enemies like dying or flying up in the air, or the sort of like pseudo physics involved in that. It's very rewarding.
Oh, the flying deaths are fantastic, especially when you can, well, as I have done a couple times today, launch a person into the air
Yes, you may have done that once or twice today.
across an entire map.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Level 2, and not getting killed immediately. Though apparently trying very hard to do that.
Well, you're only 10 or 11 behind Resident Evil, so...
Okay. Well, Graham played Resident Evil for like several sessions too. So I would say that probably the deaths per game pretty high. That is the save point that I will be saving at later. If I don't, tell Ian that that he needs to make me save.
Yeah, that circled point, save there.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep on trucking. Back through the green marbly rooms. Yeah, playing without sound is actually like a lot different. It does. There's less, sort of fewer affirming noises when you hit things. There should be health by the AR. There's our AR there. What does that switch do? Do you know what that switch does?
Oh, I'm many seconds behind you, unfortunately.
There's a switch just to the left of the AR that when it is flipped does something, but I can't recall what.
I'm gonna have to say elevator.
Yeah, I don't think so. Regardless, it's right across from the health.
Oh, it's right. Oh, the one right across from health. I think that might just honestly just be the turning on and off the lights and giving you a nifty example of how interesting the Marathon light engine is.
Look at how powerful we can compute with computers.
Look up in that room. You'll see a skybox full of stars.
Yeah, I was pointing out that the lights are really impressive, but I'm pretty sure that they're faked. Like 100% faked.
Oh yeah, no. But again, they are faked, but they work.
Yeah, for sure. They're faked unbelievably well. I also think this is a nice little, like, the maps in Marathon all like loop in on themselves and whatnot, but I like that they bring you back here and they show you, okay, you've just hit the button to raise the stairs there. That's good design.
Well, I mean, the characters, they're just sprites.
Yeah.
They're just animation sprites from 4 different angles.
Right. But the fact that they actually like have, like, they do different things to the sprites, like they know when the sprites are in an area of shadow and adjust them accordingly is quite clever. Very much adds the atmosphere. Like, that body darker than those bodies, which are the same no matter what angle we look at them from.
Yeah, that's problematic when you start circle strafing a corpse and it always looks at you.
Yeah. It's like Doom.
Except unlike Dune, you actually have to look up to shoot someone higher than you.
Yeah. Okay. See, we are saving. Okay. Yes, it's okay to overwrite. And now we never have to go through that section again. Hooray! That, yeah. The section with the Svit where I keep on dying, oh right, I was going to fix the sound. Like, when I was testing the game earlier, I got through it no problem. So I attribute it to one of several factors. The keyboard not being set up in the same way as I have it at home, and in frankly as comfortable a way as I have it at home, or Ian, your presence could also have just cursed me for Marathon. You being here has possibly made me die on everything forever.
I'm actually going to chalk up to the fact that you're disheartened over that complete and utter spanking I gave you in Network Play.
I am so tilted right now that I'm never going to be able to confidently play Marathon again. That's probably correct right there. It's not just your being here. It's that yeah.
You're just done with Marathon.
Yeah, I'm so finished with this game now, you guys. What is this? How do I get to that? I want to get to that. I do. It's probably one of these walls around here somewhere. Do.
This is one of those games I would like to get people together with for a local area network gaming session.
Yeah, where you will not have huge host advantage over me. I think that would be fun.
Well, that and just the trash talk really goes into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, when we were in Vancouver for GP Vancouver a little while ago, myself and Graham and James and Cam and I said myself twice in that sentence. My ego is coming out. We found an Xbox there that had it had Halo with it, like Halo 1 with it, and we were all like, "Sweet, Halo! We'll totally play Halo." But then it turned out that it was a modded Xbox and had all sorts of other games. But of course, we still just played Halo on it. And I saw a new side of Cam, a side of Cam that I had not seen before.
I bet that man could devastate you.
Well,
verbally.
Yes. He was getting pretty tilted, and he said some things that I was surprised to hear him say, and had no recollection of saying them afterwards. I should probably move this microphone a little bit closer to myself. Hi, Dooman. All right. I'm about to get killed by Svit. I'm going to switch to the AR in anticipation of this killing. Hooray, not dead. Except for I'm out of ammo with that. And I'm about to be out of ammo with this.
Oh, moving on to the fists. Bold move.
Now we've still got that. And dead.
Oh.
Yup.
I'm just catching up to viewing now. That's 3 Svits in a row. That is not
No, it's
good.
4. There's 4 of them, and there's 2 in front of you, 2 behind.
Oh.
It's yeah, not real fair. Let me actually use this opportunity to yes, cancel a game in progress. Figure out what's happened to our sound effects. Not having button sounds either, so I'm just going to quit out and go back in. Why am I still hearing the music? This is really weird.
I can't believe we're going to get through a play session of this without hearing the Marathon 2 theme. As played by the Power of Seven.
Oh yeah?
Yes, and yet another one of the probably the most prominent reference to the number 7 in the Marathon trilogy.
Hmm. Yeah, Bungie definitely does have a thing for the number 7. That's not good. I have done something to the graphics. Yeah. Might be switching to Marathon Infinity. Okay. Something is totally wrecked with Marathon, or with this computer, because I'm still hearing the music from Marathon 1.
Ooh.
And yeah, I'm in Marathon Infinity. Huh. Alright. I'm going to take a few minutes to restart this computer. Okay, we are back, at least temporarily.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what is wrong with Marathon right now, but Marathon Infinity will still run, so we will try some single player of that. I'm also not sure why there's no sound, so that is a thing. Graham and Kathleen are on their way back in anyway to try and fix things, but unfortunately I don't know if they will be around to help too much. Let's jump into Marathon Infinity for a little bit and take a look at where we ended up. So as we can see, much better graphics, which is the thing.
Now, Jer,
Mhm.
one of the people in the chat was suggesting you take one of the VidMaster challenges to see how far you get.
Okay.
Now, the VidMaster challenge was something that was proposed by, I believe it's Alex Seropian,
Mhm.
and it's sort of a hardcore mode that you enter by holding down Alt or Command Option when hitting the new game screen.
Hmm.
There's only a few that you can get to by playing that, because it leaves you with 1 times health and only the pistol.
I'm trying to figure out why I can't open this door, but did they change
because that door is unopenable. You need to use one of the switches just behind you in the first room that you were in.
right? Okay, there we go. It's been a while since I played Marathon. It has been a lot longer since I played Marathon Infinity. A lot longer. No, my God, I'm getting killed. The complete lack of sound is a problem.
It's an issue when you can't see things coming.
Well, I mean, in Marathon, it is so much about sound as well, right? Like all the 4 are always going. There we go. Can you just keep doing that? That would make the game a lot easier.
I'll see if I can adjust the stereo balance.
Also, okay, like go. See, like that almost perfectly lined up with me opening a door. I know that you can't see it, but it was basically perfect. Spot on.
That was my Sfut impression.
Except for then you need to make the aha and as I die.
I don't even know what I'm doing. In an effort to actually help you along here, I'm trying to play along with you,
Yeah.
but I may have lost track of you at this point, so
Yeah. Fair enough.
that's not such a good idea.
Again, we talked about Marathon Infinity being like hugely labyrinthine and crazy. Yes, that is very true. This game
Well,
is.
If you're willing, here's a question for you. Marathon Infinity does allow for co-op play.
All right. Well, we can try that. Hold on. Let's see if we can escape out of there. You can see the menus also look a little bit better. Okay. So how can we do that? Gather network game?
Yeah, I will gather a network game, and you'll need to join that as well.
Okay.
Let's map. And we're going to go game type cooperative play.
Aha.
And just go.
Okay. Join. Let's see what happens as Ian and Graham, who might actually be Jer.
Depending on how well Graham or Jer does.
Okay. Hello. Let's not shoot
Hello,
each other.
sir. Yes. I remember you from when we were using...
I see that you are wearing Mjolnir Mark III armor.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the new Mjolnir Mark IV is going to be coming out soon. That was like Halo is the Mjolnir Mark IV, right?
I think so.
Because yeah, I recall it's an evolution of what the Marathon security dudes have.
Which is, again, why people think that it's a possible continuation.
Yeah. Although interestingly, I think that besides Destiny, Bungie was working on a couple of other projects. One of which was supposedly a follow-up to Marathon. So
I wouldn't count that out. And I wouldn't count. I wouldn't count Destiny out as being a possible marathon.
well, we have no sound.
What did you do?
We has no sound.
This might be part of it.
Nope, that is not part of it.
What? Well, I mean, it
Oh
can't.
wait, yep, there it is.
Okay, so
There's the sound.
The board was turned down.
Huh.
What's the other part?
The other part is Marathon 1 is flickering. However, we have switched to Marathon Infinity, which we are playing on co-op. Supposedly, though Ian was flickering all over the place and then disappeared.
You can play co-op?
Yes.
Because I think
Like
I
co-op
died,
campaign?
and I'm now. I think I'm watching what you're doing.
Oh yeah?
But if
You just
I've disappeared, then that explains it.
well, I don't know. You were I don't think there were any enemies around when you disappeared. You just sort of were running along and then you started like clipping all over the place, like teleporting. And then you disappeared. And
Is he there or not?
I have no control over my screen. It looks like a human's playing it.
yeah. Is the human
I'm-
picking up yellow boxes and a red one?
Then that's you.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he in the room with you?
Jer, what happened to my body?
I don't know. You're hosting this game.
Lucky.
I just work here.
Hit tab to respawn, says the chat. Nope, that's not happening. Well, you know what? At least, if nothing else, this allows me to watch what you're doing.
Though there is a 7-minute and 18-second left timer on this map. And I assume when that runs out, we will just disappear or the game will be over.
Are there enemies on this map?
Yeah, there were. You can see them on the map. They are...
You know,
Oh yeah.
This is Marathon Infinity, Graham, which
Right.
we were talking about has like really crazy vertical labyrinthine maps.
I remember.
Um,
I remember this room specifically.
I just died a whole ton on the second level of Marathon in the same spot over and over and over again. And then
as you do.
it started flickering to tell me that it didn't want me to play it anymore, which persists after a restart. So I must have hit... I know that I hit some sort of function key, so... but whatever it is, I can't seem to reverse it by randomly hitting function keys. So
Why does somebody want you to spam tab?
Someone because they think it's going to allow me to regenerate.
No.
It's not.
Oh, are you not there?
Well, he's
I'm watching Jer
But
through his mind, I guess.
you can't participate?
he was participating. We were both here, and now we are not both here. Nope, that's right back here.
Oh, I remember this part.
Yeah.
This part's awful.
I think Jade Cynic is correct that I died and now I'm spectating.
It's interesting though because as I say, don't recall you dying. So
Yeah.
Neither does Ian, it sounds like.
let me on.
I don't know, what color are you?
I'm blue on the map.
Oh, wait, isn't that Ian on the map? Isn't that Ian?
Oh yes, that is me.
That's you.
White
You're-
is me.
Yeah, you're alive.
So why are you looking through me?
I'm just gonna hit buttons until I go back to my body.
Let me-
Oh, there I am. Yes, delete apparently brings me back to my body.
Ah, look at him go. Where are you going?
I'm trying to find you.
No. Go to the map. You can see me on the map. We've discovered astral projection in Marathon.
Oh my god.
This game just got so much more fun.
Now suddenly we can play Bolo at the same time.
Okay, so I can't get through that hole.
Ah, there you go, Jerry. You found a way out.
I'm not even attempting to.
Oh no, I guess not.
Hmm?
Yes, that way, Ian. Keep going that way.
Yeah.
And then stop. Wait, go back.
No. He's right. Go up the stairs and take a right.
Oh, okay.
No. You went too far. Back. There you go. And then turn. Straight
Head
ahead.
for that elevator.
And then elevator. And
take
then
the elevator.
and then.
There
Yeah.
we go. Okay, now
Yay!
turn around. Can you
Hello!
see- Hey!
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
All right, there's guys
I'm
downstairs.
waving.
You're being shot at.
Bye.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
Ian's
you were
punching
punching me. Thanks,
There's-
Ian.
No.
There's guys down there.
It's a wave.
Uh,
Guys down there?
Probably. There could be a quick death down here.
Not if we work together.
No, I think there could be still a quick death. We back in the first room.
No, these are these are
No, you're on
Doors
the
that are-
side of the first room.
All right.
closing on their own accord. Join me through this timed puzzle.
Oh.
What did you do?
Straight off the ledge.
I ran straight off a ledge and into my
Okay,
death.
there's Sput and 4. Watch out for these
And
slow Sput balls.
the sput balls.
It's gonna take a little while for Jer to get back to where you are.
Whoa! Why did I become... Aha! No!
Hmm?
Oh, I think I know what's going on.
Yes?
No. So 2 things. I think text expander caused a problem.
Okay.
So don't have text expander on when you're playing a game.
Did you just DC?
And second, when you hit Command Q in Marathon Infinity, that disconnects.
Ah, so you are done so. Okay. Let's
Can you reconnect?
Not when you're the server.
yeah, I don't think that's a thing.
Oh wait, what?
But you can't be the server because I'm still playing.
But who was server? But who was
Okay.
server?
I'm gonna show Graham what's up with Marathon, so
Sure.
that he can see that.
I have an idea, but we'll find out when we get there.
And I'll set up a cooperative game for the second map.
Okay, so when we open Marathon,
Uh-huh.
this happens.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yep, that's basically it.
Yeah, okay. Skip to the menu. Go to the preferences when you can. Oh, that is jarring. Graphics. Yeah, change the screen size.
Yeah,
No, click on screen size.
Oh.
Yeah, change it to 1920 by 1080.
there we go.
And then accept.
I don't know how I changed that.
There you go. It probably defaulted to it,
Huh, interesting.
but now you're fine.
Okay,
You can continue your saved game. I'm presuming
Yeah.
you saved.
that's been a thing. Ian, do we want to just try and take the fight back to this fit again? This one last time.
Host choice.
Okay, I'm gonna try and continue this. Except for let's not law. Interesting. That that game that you started showed up as a save game for Marathon 2 for me, which is
Marathon
or
1.
Marathon 1, even though it was in Marathon Infinity. So apparently Aleph 1 just saves everything. Aleph 1 is the name of the Marathon open source project. Apparently it just saves everything in the same spot, no matter what game you're actually playing.
So the sounds are definitely not the way they should be, but
No, but at least they are. At least they're present.
yeah.
Does it look sketchier to anyone else?
Does it look sketchier? We
Like,
are.
like, not sketchy as in, ew, I'm going to get a disease, but sketchy in the sense that actually sketchy.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, they're still certainly the textures are not like super perfect, but they're pretty nice.
They're definitely the high-res
Okay.
textures. Bunch of dudes come down this way, if I recall correctly.
Yes. Well, this is where I keep dying. Actually, is that
Oh.
a bunch of Svut attack? Not these things. I actually really, really cannot afford to use this ammo.
Where
Oh,
would he
hello.
come from?
Dudes from behind. It's a thing.
Neat.
Later on, I think it's down here. If it is, I'll be actually quite happy because it's very, very shortly after I save. Yeah. So we're gonna see a bunch of Svit. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
right.
that guy in front, but that means that there's already dudes behind. No, this is not far enough along yet.
Nice for the green one to come around in front of you.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
There they
Instead
are.
of,
There
instead
they
of just ganking in the back, I think that's just more 4 actually. Yeah.
It's quite gory when you think about it.
Yeah, we were pointing out that all the bodies are always unconscious.
Mangled.
Well, they're always mangled in the same direction too.
Well, it's
Always-
'cause of the
always
they're
looking-
Yeah,
sprites.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But they always look at you.
When aliens die, they retain their consciousness for a while.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah, so instead of just sort of like hovering in the direction of me, they are.
No, that's just a 4.
No, don't worry. I know what's happening. We've done this too many times to not know what's coming. I'm just trying to make good because I'm actually out of pistol ammo.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh,
Here?
you know what, Jer?
Here.
Actually, you are missing a crosshair that you should have had.
Yeah.
Because that was something I just remembered about that particular assault rifle,
Yeah.
was that it had a crosshair that gave you range markings for your grenade.
Right. I believe you're correct. Are
Very,
you
very good use of the grenade there, though.
are you sure that wasn't Marathon 2?
I think it was Marathon 1.
Huh.
I can check, though. I'm not actually trying to fight spit.
There we go.
You probably could have grenaded those two guys.
Well, crap.
Fisty punchy!
5 bullets left.
Uh-oh.
And there's another Svit.
But he's ignoring you for now.
For now. But there's no ammo in this room.
Well. Time to fisty punchy.
Also, fun
Oh,
fact
dead.
about the punching. Notice that it's not really so much of a punching motion as it is a twisting of your fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just sort of twist the fist at them. Oh, someone in the chat says that the oh, thank you. Said that the crosshairs were from a mod.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Remember to save the last one for yourself. I wish the sounds weren't messed up. I think it's something. It's something to do with this chord.
Mm.
I'm really sorry about that
That is the way.
because I love
Wham.
the sounds in this game.
Yeah, they are incredibly, for what they are. I mean, Ian was doing some very good makeshift sounds when they were not up. Yeah, excellent, Ian. Ooh, that was excellent. I like
Wait,
it, yes.
You've just walked into a dark room and you're discovering that there's 4 there.
Ah!
No. Just the noise they make.
Can I get some Bob voice clips, please?
Frog Blast Event Core.
They're everywhere. There's a reference actually. I don't know if you probably already talked about this, but in Halo,
Well, we've talked about many Halo references, but not that one.
The little, what are they called? They're not the grunts. The
Grunts.
little guys. Oh,
Yeah,
they
the
are.
grunts.
Okay, so the little tiny guys, they yell, "He's everywhere," which makes no sense. How can he be everywhere? Right? It doesn't. One person cannot be everywhere. It's a reference to the Marathon series, where the Bobs, which was the term for the generic human NPC good guys, one of their voice clips was,
They're everywhere.
thank you,
Yeah.
relating to the aliens. The audio is very distorted, but oh well.
Yeah, Bob's not actually something you will see in this game because I don't believe they showed up until Marathon 2.
No.
But like the first,
I think Bobs were in this game, but Exploded Bobs weren't around till the second game.
maybe.
Bobs were in this first game.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, there's a room there. Is there ammo in that room?
No, there's nothing in
that
this
would
room.
have given us joy.
It would have given, yes. I think the words you were looking for were a fighting chance.
Oh, apparently they're called Bobs because it stands for Born on Board.
On
Yes,
board.
that's right. I remembered that it was a
There was an in-game reason for it.
yeah, but I couldn't remember what it. Well, I couldn't remember what it stood for. Gonna.
Warm in the streaming office.
It's very warm in here. Again, I've been attributing my poor performance at Marathon to a number of factors. That's certainly one of them. I think that the utter demoralization at the hands of Ian earlier, though, is the more likely circumstance.
Also, you never play as well when you're streaming as when you're playing.
Well,
yourself.
that's true, but that's also because I'm like trying to keep an eye on the chat and whatnot.
They came from behind and literally everywhere else as well.
Yeah, and probably are just going to. Okay, I did not get stuck on it this time, so that's something.
That was good.
The spread on the assault rifle is incredibly high.
You're doing much better health-wise.
Yeah, and I think I've got more ammo too.
You do.
So that's a thing. How are we
Okay,
doing
wait,
how are we doing for the
wait.
Magnum here? Oh yeah, we're still doing okay for the Magnum.
I'm glad that the guy at the computer... Wait, back up, because there's the guy at the computer screen who doesn't notice that you're shooting guys.
So he's too busy suppressing the AIs.
Yeah, that's his job. They are the entire purpose of them slave race is to
Are they a slave race?
yeah.
They are slaves to the fore.
Really? They're
That's-
so
look,
they're so
that's-
friggin' scary.
Spoiler alert, at the end of Marathon 1, Durandal frees the Sput to be free from the influence of the Four.
That sounds... I wouldn't have done that, but all right.
Do. Here's Durandal talking about doors. Oh no, it's not Durandal either.
Quaternary. That's not a word you hear that much.
No, it's true. Oh yeah. Doors will be given to Durandal with indirect control of all other doors.
Like you're drinking water out of a brandy snifter. I believe that's Ian's, actually.
I went to find a glass because I was so warm and dehydrated and dying in your streaming office, and this is the only glass I could find that was not otherwise accounted for. Ian, how do I solve this puzzle?
Oh god, I can't see what you're doing.
It's okay. It's not actually a puzzle. It's just an elevator that breaks sometimes.
Oh, push up.
Haha.
Hey! You can save.
That is something that I can do.
Let's see.
Go through the intricate story. Do.
Considering that this game is free and fantastic, I highly recommend everyone go download it.
Oh yeah. You know you want to.
You should. It's like it really is a piece of gaming history. Like there's something. Oh, f those guys.
Hey.
There is some stuff that this game did that it was the first The first-person shooter to ever do it.
Well, we talked about some
Yeah.
of that, looking up and down, like lighting and shadows, at least fake lighting and shadows
The way that
look half
The
decent.
enemies like moved
Yeah.
like a lot.
Oh yeah, and the rudimentary AI.
Yeah.
It was slightly better than
There's
Find a
bunch
Little
of
Man.
dudes.
Dude, I have no ammo. I'm trying to find maybe a way to get some. Oh God!
Holy crap!
I completely forgot. Jer, if you run up to someone and punch them, it actually does more damage than just punching them.
Ah,
If you run and punch.
you've got momentum
Yes.
punch.
God, Graham, welcome to an hour ago. Well, I hope you've been enjoying playing it on your own for the last hour. That's an awful lot of guys.
Yeah. Well, it would not be so bad if ammo, but no ammo.
I can't play with that field of view. What, is it too narrow? Are you a Quake pro?
There are some people that the marathon field of view makes sick.
Really?
Yeah, this happened when they released it on Xbox. Marathon.
It's not even that wide.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it not wide enough? Like, I'm serious. That sounds like a joke, but
I think that might be it. It's too close to human vision, that it might induce motion sickness more.
huh. Oh yes, then they turn into just awful, awful chum. They just explode into
Oh,
gibbles. Behind.
Yeah, I.
Eat it.
Super
Eat it.
dead.
Eat
Super
it.
dead.
Eat it. Oh.
Where does this game hold all of its ammo?
Oh right, including Thoth says, including the enemy AI having a berserk trigger for troopers, where when they get to very low HP, they flip out and start their fire rate increases.
Huh. That's crazy.
Though not as good as that one friggin' zombie. Jer, you've got to come by on some Thursday soon so we can talk about how Resident Evil 6
Are you
is-
still playing that game?
Oh yeah! Dude, I just beat Chris's campaign.
Oh wow.
There's 2 more campaigns.
yeah, Graham, the
Oh, you killed like 4 guys there.
Which is good, but ammo. No ammo.
unfortunately,
ammo?
Graham,
No ammo.
Jer is coming close to your well, is coming up on your record of deaths for Resident Evil.
Really?
Oh God. Look. 3 clips.
Magazines.
Alex is gonna be so
yeah,
angry.
exactly. But yeah, you got to come by so we can talk about how Resident Evil 6 is just a complete shit pile of a Resident Evil game.
Sure. I like it. We can also talk about how other Resident Evil games are good.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like I said, like at least Resident Evil 5 was fun and for the most part internally consistent.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of... I have... Nade them. Or just that.
I
Behind you.
only have 1 grenade right now.
I have a lot of issues with Resident Evil 6.
Oh, I just had a brilliant idea.
We take Resident Evil 6 and Marathon, and we combine them into one sprite-based game
Close.
in a pseudo 3D environment.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Can someone just recreate the first Marathon game in the new Alien game engine?
Ooh, like that new one.
Yeah, the new one.
The one that there is a single alien. That
Yes.
sounds pretty sweet.
Hmm.
Hey!
Well,
Delicious health.
what's a nice health station like you doing in a place like this? Okay.
Someone was telling me that Resident Evil 6 has like had the biggest development team of like any game.
I think that if you look at the credits, it's hugely spread out across like multiple countries and parts of the world.
Oh, it feels like a game that was designed by a committee.
It would surprise me if it had a bigger development team than most Assassin's Creed games, because they are legit like created by.
A team of multicultural people with different beliefs and values.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I guess they tell you that right up front, so that shouldn't surprise anyone. No, but literally they are created by every branch of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Ubisoft Shanghai, I think, does like nothing but ship simulations for any Ubisoft game, right? Like they don't just, not just for Assassin's Creed, but
And I keep telling you, I keep telling people who watch me play that Resident Evil Revelations is a very good Resident Evil game. Like, it's still super ridiculous, like very, very goofy. Like the plot is just it's bonkers. But the gameplay wise, it's very much in keeping with the style of Resident Evil, and overall, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well,
But Resident Evil 6, man.
I don't even.
So I played. I started Chris's campaign, and I was like, I don't know why people call this Chris. Like, I don't know why people call this Gears of Chris. Like, it's just like Leon's campaign, and then you go to the second chapter of Chris's campaign,
Yeah.
and it's just Gears of War, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh. Or in my case, Peers of War, because I was playing as Piers.
Yeah, Piers is better than Chris, basically every way. I think we had this discussion how you decided that Piers was, or that Chris was.
Oh, he was just a drunken boat anchor
Basically,
dragging the whole
yeah.
team down. Yeah, it was pretty great.
Love it. So right now,
Did you ever beat Chris's campaign?
no, I got a little ways into it, but
I got bad news for fans of Piers. My favorite new. Oh yeah, pick up the chip.
yeah, we got to get 3 of them.
You didn't pick it up.
I know. I just closed the door instead.
There we go.
I don't know why I hit.
The
I
bit
don't know
where
why
Chris
I hit
was
the
like,
action button to expect
I'm going to
it pick it up.
retire and I'm going to put you in charge of the unit. Everybody watching was like, oh no, Piers. Damn.
Okay. We have 1 of 3 required chips that Mommy Leela is not going to let us go home without.
Arclight Dynamo, I understand Leon's campaign to be the most like a Resident Evil game, and we did that, and it was okay.
The Wesker Jr. campaign, I played the demo, and there's a bit of that in there, and it's weird.
I'm looking forward to that one because I do love the melee fighting. Like, I've gotten up to level 3, so I'm very, very punchy kicky.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Wesker Jr. does a lot of that. He's really, really good at it.
Yeah, he's apparently like a Hong Kong movie star in his ability to punching and kicking.
Awesome. Because it's very clear the people who made that game, as Japanese people tend to be, are fans of professional wrestling. Because one of Leon's finishers is a bulldog. I say finishers like it's a wrestling move, because it is.
Yeah.
And Piers did a suplex, and in one memorable instance with a giant spider, a complete Randy Orton scoop slam. Oh, that's a save point.
What? Where?
That turn around with the man on it. That
Oh yeah, certainly is. There we go. We have 2 full chips. Still looking for the 3rd.
Apparently, the Wesker Jr. campaign is all about running from bosses.
That's a pretty par for the course part of Resident Evil in general, I think.
Well, I don't know about that. Hey, Ian.
Ian?
Ian? Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Hey. So, when you were playing Marathon as a youngin',
Yes.
did you do the same sort of, like, slightly obsessive thing that I did, where you go on the map and make sure that you found all the angles and vertexes of the walls, or vertices?
Of course. The reason behind that is if you don't do that, you don't know where the terminals and the other interactable elements are.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to find an example on Jer's map, but there we go. Oh, no, that's in an elevator. Basically, making sure to find all the edges.
Well, especially because the way that the maps overlap, the way that they do, it means that if you don't see all the edges, as you said, you don't know if you've gotten all of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Because though there are corridors in this game that can hide in corners.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just to the person from the chat, Ailsby, if you missed the episode with the Randy Orton scoop slam, you also missed the episode with the best thing to ever happen in that campaign, or in the whole game so far, in all my streams of Resident Evil 6, which is, Jerry, you may have seen the GIF of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's zombies that you feed, or rather, Jawavo, which are people who've been injected with a liquid version of the virus to turn them into super soldiers, which I guess was a Neo Umbrella's plan all along, and it seems to be working out pretty well.
Uh-huh.
You attack them, and at a certain point in the game, bits of them break off, and then they mutate. So if you shoot their arm off, or if you shoot them and their arm falls off, then they get a giant mutated arm, and you have to keep fighting them.
Yeah.
But there's one particular thing where, like, you do something to their head, and their head sort of, like, mutates out, sort of like, bleh, and they're still alive, and they're still standing, but they can't see.
Huh.
So they just fire arbitrarily around the room and just shoot with their little SMG until it runs out of ammo. And then they just walk around the room windmilling frantically, blindly trying to hit something. which is, trust me, on its own, hilarious enough. But when I, as Piers, back away and let the AI-controlled Chris try to fight that thing,
Yeah.
it's like watching two drunks having a fist fight. Because Chris is diving back and forth around the room, just trying to get away from this thing, and it's flailing randomly, blindly, not able to hit him. And it keeps getting so close to him that he can't set up for a shot.
Yeah.
So then he dives away again. And it's pretty fantastic.
I may have gotten stuck. I'm not sure.
No, there's a way out of here. I'm trying to remember what it is as well.
Yeah.
Go, oh, there's an enemy. Where'd he come from?
Well, you have to kill it now.
Go back to the map. actually.
Or ask it how to get out.
Go back to the map.
Wait a minute.
Could just
Oh,
be as
stairs.
easy as stairs.
Stairs.
There we go.
We found the stairs. I'm sure someone will have the link to the GIF in the chat. It's pretty much the funniest thing. It wasn't even the GIF is of like the second instance of that happening, which is funny, but the third one was possibly even funnier. You must have more pistol ammo at this point.
Let's find out.
Oh, you got.
Yeah, I do.
You're rolling in it.
Sweet. Okay. We are not quite as dead.
Oh, here we go. Here's the GIF. Oh, you. I guess we can all hear that, can't we?
Yep.
Well, anyway, but like, look at this. Like
It's just the way that you as
Chris
the
is
character...
leaping around, and the guy's just like, "I'll get you, I'll get you, come back here."
You're just glancing over your shoulder the way, like, yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's a thing that's happening, I guess.
God, who hired this guy out of the unit? Jeez.
You did, Piers. You irresponsible bastard. I assume it was the final boss fight that was the thing that I didn't want to allow the AI to do by itself, which is fair. So whoever was on my ass about playing as Piers rather than Chris, good call, and thank you.
Where did I find the health?
I think people have used gift sound to sync that up to Chariots of Fire, Eye of the Tiger, Yakety Sax, of course.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, I think. Anyway, the point is it's all hilarious.
Mhm.
I think Chariots of Fire might be my favorite.
Somewhere on this map. And it's not over there. That's where we started.
What's there? Looks like there might be a terminal around the back of that thing.
Yeah, it was just. I think that's actually got to be it.
Possible enemies?
No, they're all dead.
Well, there's something on your map. Aha! What's this do?
This is a switch.
It's on! Whatever it was. What the?
Should be one shot, one kill.
Ew. He shot poop at you.
Well, it was purple.
It was
poop,
purple
though.
poop.
Oh no, I'm being speech
I'm being
jammed.
speech
I
jammed.
think that's Ian.
Ian, stop speech jamming me, please. Yeah, it's quite intriguing, Jeremy, that you should think you were being speech jammed.
Yeah,
Why would someone do that to you?
why would you think that at all?
Where did you first play Marathon?
I was saying that I got it from my friend Danny, who was in band with me and James. He was another third clarinet, and he lent me a disc of game demos from Mac Insider, and it was on there, along with a whole bunch of other things that he was actually more interested in having me play. But Marathon was very fascinating because, as I say, it was a shooter, but it was more of an intellectual game because it had a story. And so Highfalutin Jer, who played, you know, big games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI.
I just want to point out that that was back in the days when we actually had 3 or more Mac magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because you mentioned the third tier Mac magazine,
yeah.
Which one was that?
Mac Insider.
Oh yeah, wow, that's a good point. Because
Top tier was Mac World,
and
Yeah.
then
then
Mac
User.
Oh, what about Mac Addict?
Mac Addict didn't come out until after the first Marathon did.
Oh,
I think it was
wow.
96 when it came out. I still have the first issue sitting in my closet here. I think it was 96. But yeah, it was that was the
Wait, is that
I
a
would
hole?
call
Yeah,
fourth
I
tier.
went up in
Yeah.
the elevator when I was on the map. Where are you?
Okay, actually, Graham, you're the only one who hasn't told their story yet. Where did you first play Marathon?
I was gonna say I played it in the basement of one Paul Saunders on his computer
Ah,
back in way back in the day.
With just the Paul or with anyone else?
No, yeah, just Paul. This is just myself and Paul hanging out playing this one on some version of an Apple computer that I'm sure I can't recall the embarrassing stats of at this point. Wow, yeah, someone brought it up. I never noticed that I never appreciated that the firing the gun lights up the room.
yeah. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the faked lighting, which is very impressively done.
Yeah.
Because it is all faked, right? Like, there's no actual light sourcing anywhere in this game.
Mm-hmm. It's all done with textures, right?
Well, it's just, all the textures change colors, and similarly, the sprites just have different color maps for degrees of lighting.
That's how they did it in GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much more recent, but yes.
Do we call it fake at that point, or do we just say that this is working within the constraints of technology at the time?
Well, because it's not simulated, right?
Yeah.
It's created to look as it would if it were being simulated, but it is not itself simulated.
So it's a simulation of a simulation.
Look,
It's a simulacrum.
yes, it's good enough. That's a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Get out that nade launcher. Boomf. Uh-oh. Oh, right, the blue guys can fire twice.
There we go. That looked impressive. Yes. Look at that carnage.
It's not baked lighting, apparently.
Really?
Someone's saying it's per polygon light values of 0 to 255.
Okay, yeah, that syncs up with what we've been
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
Legitimate, yeah.
Okay, well that's more than I thought, because GoldenEye was baked lighting.
So we I played Marathon originally on my dad's computer. I didn't beat Marathon until years later, after Aleph 1 came out initially, and
Hey, we have ourselves a new subscriber,
hey,
Zephyrath.
welcome Zephyrath. Thank you for
subscribing.
I didn't even have to do it.
No,
That's the
no.
best. Welcome to the Book of Passwords, Zephyrath. Thank you so much. Thank you both. That was great.
But yeah, I didn't beat it until years later when I was playing or when I was working at the Fairfield out of school care,
Oh yeah.
and they would rent out their space for events, and so they needed like an on-site person to make sure that the people renting the space were not destroying it effectively, and I would do that some weekends. So I would go in, and my job was basically just to be the responsible adult on site and make sure that nothing terrible happened to their facilities. And because I didn't actually have to do anything, I would just bring my laptop, and I managed to play through all of Marathon after a couple of sessions of that.
Sweet.
So you mean by all three Marathon, or just the first one?
No, just Marathon 1.
I don't think
that's the only one I've actually beaten.
I don't think I've ever beaten either of the other two either, to be perfectly honest.
I only beat
Ooh,
the
you can
first
save.
one when I was a kid.
Yeah, I already did
with,
that at this save point, but
with serious hacks.
Ooh, that one's different. The palette swap.
there, I killed the pallet swap.
Zarephath says, I was at a Globetrotters game the other day and got to meet Dengler, and he was happy and surprised I knew who he was.
Huh,
That's so cool.
nice. Okay, so we've got to this room,
No.
and we've activated the elevator, but I'm not seeing that third chip. Let's talk to Leela.
Uh-oh. Leela's starting to lose it.
I think that might have been Durandal. Leela doesn't lose it, she just gets killed.
Hmm.
And then is like unkilled, I think, in the ending. I'm not sure exactly how that worked.
So does this then go up again from one of the side things?
Yeah, maybe there's a button in one of these.
Check the map. Whoa. Well, it's a good thing that doesn't look confusing.
Yeah. The map would certainly seem to indicate that there is more
Oh,
going on.
wait. That means the one you're on isn't an elevator, but the one across from you looks like it might be.
Yeah.
That one there.
Yeah. I just don't see any. I needs a button to activate.
Ah,
Palette swaps keep on showing up. So
yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Try that. There's definitely a room above you.
Yeah,
Whoa.
you are correct.
So I've got to ask, did either of you know who Durandal was before Marathon?
There was a before marathon for Durandal.
Yes.
Oh.
Durandal is a historical reference.
Oh yes, no, I know that.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of fun. I remember having a lot of fun when they started advertising Halo number inconsequential when Cortana starts acting strange.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
with
like,
the rampancy?
yeah, I was like, oh shit, rampancy, son.
I know.
I remember that actually when Halo 3 was like announced or something.
Yeah, there was someone I knew who knew Halo but didn't know Marathon and was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like,
And-
oh, you'll see.
Yeah, Cortana starts reciting those. Ooh, chills, man.
Yeah, but then they kind of screwed it up. I don't know. Halo 4, from that point of view, I was pretty disappointed by.
Apparently, there's a historical Cortana, which is related in some story to Durandal.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or so says Thoth.
I was going to say I'll just Google Cortana, and I think no, that's not going to
Durandal
give
is
me
a
anything.
sword from the Tales of Charlemagne.
Yes, he
And
was
Cortana
owned by
was-
Roland.
Yeah, and Cortana was a sister sword.
Oh, a sister sword to Durandal.
Apparently,
Well, that makes perfect sense then.
sure does. We're all learning stuff.
So now, now we're gonna have all this fun again with Destiny.
Ooh.
I remember
I'm-
that. Is Destiny in the same universe?
No.
I'm quite certain Destiny's going to be sort of parallel-y, though,
Right.
You think
in
so?
the same way that Halo is to Marathon.
Now, at the end of Halo 3, didn't they try to make it seem like it was sort of cyclical? That, like, wasn't the, like, secret super bonus ending of Halo 3 the Master Chief's ship arriving at the Marathon?
No.
And then they were like, that didn't happen, and then had Halo
No.
4.
It's picked up. It's drifting through space and a big ship shows up.
Was that just headcanon for people like us going, it's the Marathon?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
believe,
stand by it.
I believe that's the case anyway. I don't know. Halo 4 did interesting things too. Any perception of how Halo 3 may have ended, and as I say, I'm not entirely thrilled with it. I find I don't know. Maybe the rest of you who are watching this chat have different opinions about Halo 4, but I think in the end feel like it was a disappointment. I don't feel like it did the things that I wanted it to, which were, advance the plot in another interesting way. As such, they just went super deep into the Forerunner lore, and that was, and played up a romantic relationship between the Chief and Cortana, which is just weird.
Well, it wasn't the Bungie game either.
Yeah. Oh, I'm about to die.
Yeah, is the ceiling closing in?
Yeah, it is. That's happening.
You knew this was going to happen.
No, I just recall these sorts of things happening. I was telling Jer earlier about one of the
Is
few
there a
maps
hole
I
in
actually
the ceiling?
That sounded like a Chrono Trigger yell.
Now, you were telling me, that's something I never known, that oh, you're back here? You don't even get to go to the next level?
No, there's no checkpointing. So when I was dying previously
Wow.
on the second level, it was just taking us all the way back to the beginning of the game, which was a big pain in the butt.
The reason that Marathon became popular was on the back of its multiplayer, not its single-player campaign.
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
sounds a lot like Halo to me, but I had never, ever realized, because back in these days, multiplayer, it was only local, and I was never in a position where that was feasible.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I guess it wasn't only local, but dial-up, yo.
It was predominantly only local. I remember.
It was It was only local. I mean, in order to actually get a dial-up connection, you'd have to do some pretty crazy X modem hacks.
Yeah, I remember the first time that I saw someone play Quake online. It was a revelation. So, I mean, it's interesting. Graham and I both have the same sort of experience where we only ever played the campaign, and
It's really weird because that was back in the day when, in order to actually set up a Macintosh network, you just required some phone cable and a $15 phone net connector.
yeah.
So, if you had Mac friends, you could theoretically put together a LAN within budget, even for 15-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Well, but the catch is because you didn't own a computer, your parents would have had to let you take their computer over to a friend's house. And I mean, those Macintoshes were essentially bricks, but I don't know. My parents were not going to let me take theirs anywhere.
No, that's truth. You had to really make a case for going somewhere else.
Yeah, which is why, though, as I say, it largely became popular in like university computer labs.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's like anywhere else. I mean, that original local talk networking was built so that you could actually put together a network over 2 copper pipes.
Yeah. And yeah, we're at the point where we're probably going to have to wrap it up pretty soon.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, the term time slot has little bearing when it comes to Loading Ready Live, especially in a situation where there was some
technical difficulties
difficulties getting it going. But I mean, we all have to twerk in the morning. So no, there's a door that appears part way, isn't there? No, I guess there's not.
I seem to recall that it was like a spot on the wall that you...
What do you do in this room, Ian?
Is it the room I'm seeing 3 minutes previous?
Oh, there we go. We found it.
Is it the nuclear room?
No, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Everything is fine here now.
How are you?
Exactly. But
so much nuclear room. Yeah, but we should head into this biohazard room. We got the nuclear room and the biohazard room.
There's a health thing and a save point.
Yeah, right down the hall from each other. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to take off at this point.
Yeah.
Button it up. I would like to mention though that you're talking about networking, and in terms of college networks. This game and its sequels were part of the reason that our group that started out with the phone net connectors eventually all saved and scratched pennies to put together buying Ethernet cards.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Because this game was that important to us.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it makes good sense, and I think it was the first big like.
That looks bad.
Well, it's fine.
Oh.
We're fine here. Yeah, it's definitely one of the first big reasons to play a multiplayer game on your Mac, if not on your computer. So definitely.
That started it.
And as Graham says, totally free. So you have no reason not to go download it and check it out, and its sequels. You will probably do better at it than I do naturally.
Yeah.
So Ian,
yes, you're in.
what's the over under on you not being in Edmonton quite so much?
It's the plans are underway.
Awesome. Well, I hope
Let's
that when you guys wend your way out to the coast, I know that Corey has already expressed an interest in some Loading Ready Live action.
Oh, has she?
So well, she mentioned it on Twitter. I don't know. I thought it was in relation to Loading Ready Live. It might just have been a thing she wanted to do anyway. But regardless, when you guys get out here, we should talk.
Yeah.
I am glad to have the invite because Corey can back me up on this. That I've basically every other day I come up with an idea of, this is what a stream I should do is.
Yeah.
Well, there is yet some open time on. There's some time in the week when we're not generating content.
Really, we're not 24/7 yet.
My God.
I find that hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right.
So
Cool.
Finish that.
Well, For Grant and for Ian, this has been the Book of Passwords. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to run an ad to go out on, and I will thank you all for joining us. And yeah, have a good night, and we will catch you again sometime very soon, in 2 weeks, when we will find some other old obscure game that is a chestnut of ours to play. Much love, and thank you for tuning in.
Excellent. Want to button us up?